Hello, everybody. Right in the middle of my sentence there of how everything was intelligent design and God created everything, that He's in all times, all the time. All of a sudden, my internet connection, I'm at a hotel, and the thing just cut me off. I lost all that. So now I got to start a new video clip. But it's no problem because we'll just keep on pushing here. So, anyhow, getting back to what I was talking about is we're just a small part of the whole universe here. Even though we are in a big infinite universe and all that, we're actually still in a very small part of that larger universe that we cannot perceive. And getting back to perception, all we have to perceive things is our five senses, okay? That's what's telling us of what's real and what's not real, quote. But actually, everything is information. So this is getting to my next part is placebo effects, consciousness, faith. You have natural faith to believe in things, are real. When somebody tells you something, you have to have a certain amount of faith to say, hey, okay, I received that, I believe it. And, you say, oh, that's true, I believe it. It's true. Well, even scientists, when they measure stuff, they gather their facts or data, what their five senses are telling you, what their instruments are telling you when they're measuring stuff. Okay, this is information. And through my natural senses, I believe it's real. I believe the data I'm receiving is real. Therefore, I have the understanding of that. But again, that's all information, and that's a part of your reality. Um, but the thing is like what you believe is who you are, basically, or what you believe is how you perceive your reality. I always used to say that perception is reality. To yourself, the way you view things is your own reality, but you can change your own reality. Now, there's two ways of changing it. One is changing it internally, where I understand everything and I perceive it, where I see I'm like, going to be successful. I could do this, I could do that. I have a lot of faith. I'm not afraid of things. Or I can have another perception of I'm afraid to do things, I'm scared of things. And when I have that perception, then I see it. Hey, Melissa, welcome aboard.
What are you doing? Oh, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, it would help if I talk. I had the wrong headset here. Oh, well, I guess nobody caught really what I was saying. How you doing?
There were people listening.
Yeah, what happened was my first stream, the internet. See, I'm using the hotel internet. I would have used my hotspot on my phone, but the blessed thing, I can't get really any coverage on my phone because it's got a weak signal. So now I'm at the mercy of the hotel, hotspot. And the thing after a while just cuts you off, and then you got to start it all over again.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does, man. Because the other hotels, I used to have like banging signal, and so I would have like a unlimited data, unlimited bandwidth, no problems. But
Who are you on the phone with that you just cut off?
no, I was using the phone as an example of reality and stuff. I
Oh,
was on a roll. It's like tonight. It's like all the ducks are lined up. I'm in deep thought. I can explain things, and all of a sudden now I got this basic connection deal.
oh, Satan's trying to stop you from getting the word out there.
He ain't gonna win at all because I remember God has given me all power and authority over all the power of the enemy. So
Right. So then
uh,
just bind Satan for messing with you in Jesus
uh,
Christ's name.
exactly, and he's bound up in the name of Jesus. He's got no
Amen.
authority. That's right.
All right, there
But
you go.
so, were you watching my
Uh,
video?
I was watching and I was playing some kind of you uh I don't know, card game. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's it's that thing where you play cards, with like a friend that you have,
Right.
like your Facebook friends or whatever. You can invite them, and so I was playing with my friend, and I was losing because I'm no good
Oh,
at it.
wow.
Well, that's something. So, did you do you have any comments on what I said up to the point about God being the ultimate and everything? I,
Um,
I guess I kind of lost you.
it's some of that's over my head
Yeah,
understanding. I'm sorry.
yeah. What I was trying to say, backing up, is I was trying to formulate like from my understanding where I'm at now as far as perception and reality, and I'll go through it because I need somebody to like, kind of slow me down or say, hey, can you explain this more? Because if I'm just doing a monologue, I can just keep going, losing people. But basically, like we talked about earlier, I don't know if it was today or a couple of days ago about information and energy. That you said everything was energy, and that is absolutely correct. Where mass is energy, and energy is mass, vice versa. But that's what the substance is. But the format, the layout is information. You know, do you catch that so far?
No, sorry. I was I was trying to find where the chat room for this thing was at. I didn't even know you
Oh
went
yeah,
live.
yeah. I'm live. I decided to go
Uh,
live. And can't let the fans down. Let me go get my face on there so I can put a face. But hey, people. Well, I got 3 viewers on there. Let me try to pull up that chat room here. Unless just I got a couple of laptops here, and I'm trying to get this one on the hotel Wi-Fi.
Mr. Sir Kidney, there you go.
Okay. You looking at the chat room? Then I'll let you.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, I'll tell you what. People out there, you got any questions for me? Melissa, what are they saying out there?
nothing.
Okay. A few words. All right. I guess I'll just uh, keep on talking. So anyhow, like I said, up of information. That's how everything's laid out. Okay. And this and reason why the Mandela effect is so cool, as I say. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of it, or they're like worried about me. I consider, and I've always said this, it's the greatest show on earth. Okay. Tell me when you sit back and you see things change. It's like, no, it used to be like this, and now it's, hey, life was like a box of chocolates. Oh no, I remember life is like a box of chocolates. And how that works. Let me give an example of the past. Okay, I'm going to be jumping around a lot here, but basically, when you look at the past now, like you see, like the movie Tom Hanks, life was like a box of chocolates. You're watching that in the present. The past, what you experience, like life is like a box of chocolates. You've experienced that, and you remember that, right? Now, the reason why the Mandela effect hasn't changed your memory is because your memory is consciousness, right? Your self consciousness, your self awareness, that does not get changed by the Mandela effect. But hold that point because I'm going to, you know, uh, make not interjection, but amendment to that. But anyhow, basically, in general, what you remember will not be changed by a Mandela effect. So people remember life is like a box of chocolate. Now it was. And the thing is with the Mandela effect, people remember they call it a confabulation. The confabulation says, you're confabulating, you're misremembering. Oh, great. Well, tell me this, Sherlock, since you're such a detective. How come everybody misremembers everything the same way? Now, for example, when you in a scene of an automobile accident, you got all these different witnesses, or a scene of a crime, you got all these different witnesses. Everybody's telling a different story, right? With the Mandela effect, everybody's telling you the same story. It's either the way it is now or the way it was. It's like, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? That's what everybody remembers Mr. Rogers saying. God bless him. But now he says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, okay? So again, people remember it the way it was because their consciousness kind of shielded that memory from being changed with the Mandela effect. So even though the reality's changed now, it was still the same before. Now, when you're looking at the past, like you see a videotape of Tom Hanks, or you see the rerun of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, you're still looking at past in the present. That is present information. Even the Grandma's King James Bible, like I said in the last video, where we remember it being mats, now it's couches. And but the thing is, it's in couches now. Even that Bible's 100 years old, it's been changed now. But if you were able to time travel or somehow go back into the past, you'll go back to the way you remember reality, because that past wasn't changed then. It's changed now. The perception of it's changed now. So that's the reason why the Mandela effect affects the here and the now. Okay. And when they talk about retroact, like, oh yeah, the past has changed. Like when you look at a logo, CNN, right? It came out in 1980, CNN, and even when you look at the logo, it's all merged together. But I remember I used to watch Chicken Noodle News. That's what I call it. And when you watch that, I remember they were separate letters. Of course, Mandela effect, they got merged, okay? And retroactively, it looks like it's always been merged. But when you look at that retroactive logo from 1980, you're still looking at it in the present. You're not looking at it in the past, you're looking at the present. So that's the reason why it affects the present. In other words, we are always in the ever present now. So, Melissa, are you getting a little understanding about the past and the present?
Nope.
No, okay.
Did you see what David wrote in the chat? What
What did he
caused the
say?
change now? Any theories?
Okay, what's causing these changes? Okay, let me just throw out the general theories. Number one is CERN with the particle hadron collider. They're smashing particles and they're trying to find the boson particle, which is the glue that holds everything together. You know, but that's one theory. And they're saying because they're smashing particles, it's creating changes, is rewriting the data in the universe, which is a viable theory. Number two is quantum computers, where they're, again, they cool down the way these CPUs work in the quantum computer. They cool them down to almost absolute zero, so then they can exploit the quantum state of particles. So instead of having a one and a zero in a classical computer, you have a one and a zero at the same time, existing at the same time. And because they're entangled, they could tap into infinite amount of, not infinite because we haven't got that many bits yet, but near that. And it's somehow rewriting data in the natural universe, number two. Number three is old Lucifer. His day's short. We already went through the blood red moons. We shot that off. Israel being a nation for almost 70 years, coming up to this summer, having Jerusalem 50 years, all these time markers, and then the September 23rd sign. So something's up where we're in the last days according to these signs, which makes sense. And that's the reason why the enemy's come down, because he has his time is short and he's trying to inflict change. And one clue to that is the King James Bible is getting ruthlessly hacked into like no other. I mean, the NIV is somewhat pretty much the same integrity, but that's got hacked too. But the King James is just literally obliterated. You could watch EYA or Meeg's video, and they do an awesome job. Shout out to you two ladies because you guys are awesome. And don't worry about the trolls; they'll come and go. But you keep doing what you're doing. That's a plug for you. Anyhow, you're doing great. So, and the enemy is hacking that. That's one clue. Another clue: when you look at the lowercase t, it's got a little hook, and the cross on the T is like shifted, so it's not like a pure cross. So that's an obvious sign of the enemy don't want a sign of the cross at all, the lowercase t. And you and I know that we wrote a capital T, lowercase t. Where this little hook comes from, only God knows, because that I never remember learning that in grade school or even manual script. So and that's in everything. So that's a sign that the enemy could be shifting up. And then a new theory I thought up just a while ago is our own consciousness is maybe causing the Mandela effect. Somehow we're become more aware of things, And there might be somebody on this planet or people who've gotten the deep understanding or the faith or whatever to actually to change, literally change things by themselves, to focus. I don't know how they're doing it, but changing reality through their own consciousness. Um, that's the newest theory I have, because way this whole awareness works, the more you're aware of things, the more you can change things. If you weren't aware of anything, you wouldn't really be able to have control or change. In other words, getting back to something simple, they're the theories, okay? But breaking it down, something simple, you know how these positive thinkers, they say change your reality by the way you think positive. Even the Bible says, you know, dwell on these things, the pure, the good, the lovely, the noble, good report, to think of positive things. It also says be transformed by renewing your mind. And therefore, if you start thinking positively, you start thinking on the word, the scripture, you'll rewrite your own perception. Out there, Melissa. Can you read it off to me? But go ahead. I'm sorry. Melissa, you want to unmute your mic? Let me see if I can pull up a chat here.
All right. Got it. It's in the chat. Can you read it?
Let me see here. I missed. Here, let me see if I get the chat room coming up here. Just give me a second
Okay.
here.
Dave said, I have confirmed there has not been a change in the, I don't know, Tydale Bible. I don't know what kind of Bible that is, which the KJV is based on. Do you know what kind of Bible that is? Tyndale, Tyndale. Am I saying
Uh,
that wrong?
I got one program that's got like 170 of the Bible changes there. Uh, okay, I'm pulling up the chat room here. Okay. Oh, okay. Um, I don't know. The Tyndale Bible, which the King James is based on. You mean that Tyndale Bible has not been changed? Any of the words? Is that what he's trying to say?
That's what he's trying to say.
Hey, Brian, I see you out there. Hey, Rena, I see you out there too. And David, I see you out there.
And
Okay.
Mr. Sir Kinney. Don't forget Mr. Sir Kinney.
Oh, was he back up there? Oh yeah, yeah. I missed him too. Well, you guys are awesome out there, because it's people like you that make these chat rooms work out great. You know. But
He said correct, not from his memory. Nothing's been changed.
you mean he's got a version of the Bible that hasn't been altered by the Mandela effect? Is that what you're saying?
That's what he's saying.
I'm gonna pull that up and take a look at it. The one scripture I want him to look at, if he can, look up the one with the mat that changed the couch. Look up the sweat of thy brow, which is the sweat of thy face, and the one with the crushed head or bruised head. If he could look those up, if he could copy and paste those out of those and put it on the chat, I'd like to see that.
He
You know,
says it's
now the NIV,
online.
well, the NIV does have like accurate stuff. I mean, the NIV, it's still like, I think, pick up your mat or something. And the NIV also talks about the crushed head and stuff like that. So, like the King James Bible, for some reason, it's getting hit the hardest, because if you think about in Christianity, most people say, I only read the authentic 1611 Texas Receptive King James Version, because before the Mandela effect, it was the most accurate translation. So if you're the enemy, this is another reason why the enemy may be causing these effects too. It's a very viable theory, along with uh, quantum computers and CERN, is because the way the King James is getting hacked up. And so, and then with the these and thous, they say, well, that's the way they talk. They can kind of suck it down. So that could be it too. All right. I was there. Let me see what else. get back to what I was talking about. I'm talking about the past, okay, how it's shielded. Like my buddy Brian out there, he's been faithfully writing down the King, the Bible, writing it down. And what he does, instead of just looking at it, write down, he looks at it and he thinks and he writes down scripture. So when the Mandela effect changes the word, he's got the authentic written scripture out there. And so that hasn't been changed, even art or anything else. So your consciousness is the thing that is the key to this whole reality. That's right. Now I remember what I was talking about thinking positive and stuff. The person who thinks positive, everything all of a sudden everything starts looking better. But if you start thinking negative, like, oh, they don't like me, they hate me, oh, my life sucks, all these things, okay? And you hear the blab and have it, the name and claim it, people talk about your words changing reality. It says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What's in your heart is what the mouth speaks, but what's in your heart is what you believe. And believe it or not, your memory is not so much contained in your brain, but it's also contained in the tissue of your heart. It's been proven when they did heart transplants that the person that they got the transplanted heart from, the person starts to take on their characteristics or mannerism because there's memory cells within the heart, the human heart. But those memory cells are like really down in the deep subconscious, like that's the core of your being. So that's the reason why you believe in your heart and then your mouth confesses. Like when you believe when people pray for healing or they're believing for whatever, it's like they could say, oh, yeah, I believe that. But do they really believe it? If you really search your heart, your deep understanding or your gut feeling, if you're believing somewhere you kind of doubt it, right? But if you really believe it, and it'll come true. And you're texting me something. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Take care of your stuff there. All right, but if you really believe in your heart, then it's going to manifest. It really is. Okay. Jesus says, if you have faith as grain of mustard seed, say to the mountain, be removed, and not doubt in your heart, it'll happen, right? Okay. People go, well, I believe it. It doesn't happen. But do they really believe? And then um, another thing that may not work for you is because, if you have utter unforgiveness towards your brother, that's going to kind of, neutralize that too. But if you have faith and you believe it, now simple faith is when I get in my car, I'm going to turn the key and it'll start, right? That's natural faith. When I sit down in a chair, I expect it to hold my weight, not to break, right? Now, fear is the same exact thing as faith, but instead of faith saying the things I hope for, the things I desire, fear works the same way as faith, but it's the things that you don't desire. You don't want the seat to break before you. So if you're terrified of sin, oh, I don't know what's going on my way, and you're fearful, so you're believing that seats go break, or you get in your car and you're afraid that's not going to start. But you're believing it. So if you want to change your reality within the internal way, your perception, just start believing things. Love hopes all things, it believes all things, endures all things, rejoices what's good, not what's with evil. But just allow that. And the key is when you receive how much God loves you, okay? He says, love the Lord your God with your heart, mind, soul, and spirit. I love your neighbor as yourself, right? You cannot love anybody until you realize how much God loves you. Once you realize how much God loves you, and I don't like the English word love, it has three meanings. It's got eros, it's got phileo, and it's got agape. When I talk about the love, I'm always talking about agape, the unconditional love, the love without any puppet strings. Oh, you do this for me, and I'll take care of you. That's conditional love. That's the brotherly love. Friends will do that. Even Jesus says, even the heathen tax collectors will, you do good for them, they'll take care of you. But the love that God's love is unconditional. They'll love you in spite of anything, in spite of all your screw ups or whatever. So once you understand how much He's loved you and forgive you, then when somebody shafts you, gives you the shaft, you can say, I forgive you because we're just in a fallen, busted up world anyhow. So, but getting back to the unconditional love and getting back to the way you think, if you start having that mindset of unconditional love, then you'll change from the inside out. Your body language will express to other people, like, yeah, this guy's open. He's not afraid of me. He's not afraid of rejection because he knows he's unconditionally loved. So you will not feel rejection. And then we got the law of attraction. Now, everybody study the law of attraction. It's like you bring things, or your reality starts manifesting to the way you perceive it. It's sort of like a catch 22. You feed it more. So when you want to break out a cycle of negativity and fear, you got to step out and just say to yourself, I believe that good things are going to happen. God's for me. And then once you start believing that and refuse what your five senses are telling you, and you got to also change that rudder of that ship of your perception, because it's not going to happen instantly like fast food. It's going to take a while. You got to sow that seed of renewing your mind and make yourself think positive, or think that you're unconditionally loved. And then once you do that, then people start seeing it and things will start changing. And you'll start attracting people like that into your life. And somehow the negative naysayers will just kind of like just stand back and won't want to be with it, because it kind of clumps together. And the physics of this, okay, this is like emotional, intellectual thing, but the physics of it is, when you have a crystal glass, lead crystal glass, when you rub your finger on it, it makes that ringing sound. That glass resonates at its own frequency. When you hit it, it has that same exact ring. That's the way it's built. If you have like a speaker and you tune it to that same frequency to put out that same frequency that glass resonates, you'll actually cause that glass to shake and vibrate. And you saw when those singers, like, they sing into the glass and they shatter it. What they do, they tune their voice to the same frequency of glass, and when they hit it, it shatters because it stresses the lead crystal, and breaks apart because you're at that frequency. So with the frequency, and even like you're tuning in your FM radio, you tune in dial to this station, you tune there. All you're doing is all these frequencies are out there: the love, the hate, the doubt, the unbelieving. There all those frequencies are out there, but you have the power, you have the authority to tune in what you want to tune in. And when you're tuning into a good station, guess tuning into a station that's full crap, right? You couldn't see. This is where your perception, your consciousness comes in play. It can only be focused on one point at one time. You have all these waves of probability, right? This can happen, that can happen, but you only could play one frame at one moment. That's where the ever present now is. So you're on that. So when you tune into that radio station that's positive, thinks great, accepts the love of God, believes in God's goodness, then you'll start becoming like that. And it's a true thing. When you have two frequencies coming together, they'll start like syncing up. This is where you get the synchronicities. That's another thing I want to bring up, because when you're ringing, when two things are ringing, when they come together, they start oscillating at the same frequency. It's just a natural thing. So like when you experience synchronicities, and I guarantee you, the more you're aware of your reality, the more synchronicities you're going to have. It's just because you're aware of that and you're bringing it in. That's a part of the law of attraction working at, because you're sinking it in. Okay. And some people think, oh, it's an evil thing, it's Satan or whatever. It's your own, it's a feedback. I'm going to get into causality loops next. That's another um, pattern of how the universe works. But when you have these synchronicities, you're focusing on one thing and it's bringing in the likes of whatever it is. All right. Good night, Brian, man. But so when you bring that in, it causes you to see those things, and that's how it works. But remember, when you observe something, it's only one thing at a time. And when you don't observe it, then you have the possibilities of happening. So getting back, you could change your internal belief system, your paradigm and stuff. And then what happens, that'll start working its way into the external reality. And I gotta look at some of these comments here. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Get back to this chat room. Okay, Rena, sinks are the eyes of the beast, ways trying to suck in your, re, reminding you I am there watching you. It's all evil. Okay, Rena, let me put this to you, okay? What you're seeing with these synchronicities is how you're perceiving it as the enemy is talking to you. And of course, you have experiences that showed you that the enemy is talking to you and it is happening to you. The enemy is talking to you. Now, the Bible says, resist the devil and he shall flee, right? So, because you're focused on the enemy talking to you through these syncs, then it keeps it going, sort of like a momentum effect. What you got to do if you want to see synchronicity that happen, like a God synchronicity, where God's talking to you, He's saying, "Here it is." You think about something, and then there's a sync of God giving you a blessing with it. That will happen too, because right now you're on that understanding, that perception that it's all the enemy, it's the AI, it's negative, okay, and that's where it's at. But what you have to do, you just refuse, just ignore it, ignore the enemy. Let's say right now where you're at, it's hard to see that because you're in that zone, that reality. But there's a way of breaking out of that. First you rebuke it, and then you just ignore it and pay no mind to it. Then you got to think in your mind, who is the greater one? Is it the enemy could talk to me? Is he the greater one? Or is God the one who's in all times, all the time, all places at all the time? The infinite God, he's everywhere. He controls everything. And guess what? You are the daughter of the most high God. He's in you. His seed's in you. Okay? So the enemy has no authority. So you got to start thinking that road. I mean, meditate, focus on that road. I guarantee you, the enemy does not have power over you. I know that for a fact. He's been stripped of all power. So if these things are happening, you're leaving the door open by believing it. Okay, and you believe it because you've experienced it. Now, this is the thing, the paradigm shift that people need to make. They're in the reality because their five senses saying, "Oh, this has happened or whatever," and then that's your reality right now. But what you got to understand is you can change that reality. First has to start internal, where you believe in the Word of God and you believe in that, and then you'll start seeing these things disappear, and you'll start seeing the holy things, as I would call it, God talking to you all the time. But you got to believe that God's talking to you, and then you put a muzzle over the mouth of the enemy. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. Yes, Melissa, renewing of the mind, that's where the Bible comes in. You have the all of power and authority. The enemy, it says in the Bible, the enemy has been made a public spectacle, you know, triumphant with Christ. He's stripped. The only thing that gives the enemy power and authority is how much you believe he has it. All he's got is an empty bag of tricks. He has no power. But if you think he has power and authority, then he has it. Case in point, the Satanists, okay? They give they give their whole whatever to the enemy, and he empowers them because they allow him to have that power. But let a man of God come in there and just say, "Be gone, cast out the demons." He's got to go because light has total authority. When you go in a dark room, it's completely dark. You don't know where you're going. As soon as that light comes in there, it overpowers that darkness and there's light. So it's automatically the authority of the enemy must submit to God. Like every name that is named must bow to the name of Jesus. And I remember on Brian's channel that he had Jinxie Cat on there. And she said she was Buddhist, but that she said whenever she encountered something demonic, she would use the name of Jesus and it'll automatically go away. I mean, she just knows that when she uses the name of Jesus, it goes. So this is somebody who just doesn't really believe in Christianity yet. That's the power. But it's your faith, it's your belief system that you have in your mind That's the reason why it's so important to renew your mind with the scripture to the point where I don't give a flip what reality says. I don't care about what the eyes say, what the ears say. What did Jesus says? Walk by faith, not by sight. Don't walk by what you see, what you hear the enemy saying. Walk by faith. Believe those things because faith is substance, the reality. This is the reality of reality is faith, the substance, okay? We're getting back into consciousness now. Your consciousness is what's determining your reality. And also another clue is non-determinism. Big fancy word saying you have free will, you have free choice, you are a free agent. Nobody could pull your strings except for you. Okay, not even the enemy. And God, He's free will. He allows you to make choices. So choose life. And He will give you life more abundantly. I know I'm saying, oh, she is saying, how can you serve two masters? Okay, well, okay, in reference to money, you can't serve two masters. You'll love the one or hate the other, okay? Now, obviously, if you love God, you won't, cheat on your taxes and do all this stuff because you're putting God ahead of money. But if you make money your master, then you're going to compromise your moral beliefs or whatever and do that. That's the reference to what the scripture says. But I think you're asking me about how can you, no one can serve two masters. Um, Let me look at the chat room. You're gonna have to clarify. Is that dealing with money? Wait, I'm reading it now. Oh, okay, I see it. How can you serve two masters? Always boggles me. We always, we are always free in Jesus. Hey, sweetheart, I'm shouting out to my daughter, Tiffany. One God versus one God versus the one true God. I'm saying, I guess you mean the God of this world versus Jesus. Is that correct? So, well, just remember the devil is not omnipresent. All he could be is at one place at one time. He's very limited. God's infinite. He's at all places all the time. That's the reason why, you ever thought about why he took a third of the angels? He deceived 30 angels, say, hey, I'll exalt my throne above the throne of God. As soon as he decided to, he thought God was on his angelic plane, but God was in a higher level. God always loves to hide himself, you know? So as soon as the enemy tried to take over his throne, he got shot down like a bolt of lightning, and a third of the angels went down with him. And so even Satan didn't even see who God really was. He thought he saw him as being on his level. He said he could take it over. So Satan deceived himself, but he's got nothing. He really does. You know. But basically that in my and the reason why I'm so adamant about this, I'll tell you a personal testimony. This happened to me back in 1988, okay? I've been a Christian 5 years, and there was this thing about blaspheming the Holy Spirit, and I thought I blasphemed the Holy Spirit, and then I thought I was like demon possessed, and I thought I lost my salvation. And of course, once you Christian believe that you lost your salvation, the only great hope you look for is burning in hell for all eternity. And you know, can't do that, you know. But I'll have to get this later. But anyhow, so I was thinking I was going to burn for hell there. So my mind was constantly thinking, I lost salvation and all this stuff because I believed in this doctrine of blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So I believed that. All of a sudden now my reality is like I'm going to hell. I'm not saved, and then people try to cast demons out of me even though I was a Christian. So finally, after some prayer, I woke up to the one time and say, they can't shove a demon in the book of Proverbs, okay? So what I started doing was started memorizing the book of Proverbs. I memorized like a third of it. I said, they can't shove no devil in this thing. And then after I started memorizing the New Testament, And God kind of woke me up. And so I renewed my own mind by the word. And then finally, I just started understanding that I'd never blaspheme the Holy Spirit because I'm coming after God. I believe in Him and all that stuff. And finally, I got delivered out of that through the renewing of the mind. And that's the reason why I'm so adamant on two things. You, these are two things that you'll know me by. One is God loves you unconditionally, without reservation, without anything. While you were still a sinner, He loved you and died for you. Okay, that's one. Number two, devil, the demons are have no authority, nothing, zero, nada. If you even have a perfect love gets rid of all fear, but if you still fear, you have not been made in God's perfect love, which is the unconditional forgiveness and stuff and freedom from all that, you know. And faith works by love, no matter how you cut it up. If you're going to believe, you have to believe with confidence by believing that all things are given to you by God. So that's how that works. So you could change yourself. So that's an experience I went through, like 30 years ago. Okay. And then I ran into somebody like a year or two later, went through the exact same thing. And because I went through it, I was able to talk them right out of it. And I really didn't even pray. I just like kind of kept reprogramming, say you're saved, you're born again, you're not going to hell and all that. And after a while, he started believing it, and then the words started taking root again, and then he was okay. But I heard a lot of people that went through that thing. They're in an insane asylum because they just allowed that to overtake their mind. So yes, your mind is where everything starts. So again, you got the internalization, and then law of attraction brings things to start happening for you. Then another level is you'll start to um, affect the physical reality because everything's information. So then you'll start seeing things happen. Signs and wonders will follow them who believe, right? That says in the Bible. Signs and wonders will follow them that believe. So again, believing with your heart, and then all of a sudden it'll start manifesting here. We look at the chat room here and see who else is saying. I'm reading the chat room here. Well, I'm seeing people are talking about the changes in the Bible, and yes, of course they're changed. But what I'm trying to say is that no matter what happens, no matter what changes go on in reality, you got to remember one thing: you're more aware, you're more awake. You see these things. A lot of people don't because they're not more aware. Again, you're being more sharpened, and as you see these things, you'll probably see more of them. But like I said, don't get freaked out because in the end of the game, whether you get raptured or whether you die, right? This is not your true home. This body that you're in is not your true body. It's just a shell or maybe even an avatar, but it's still you, running your show here. Um, and I talked about the golden ratio. That's in all things of creation. I'm not going to get in that, but look up golden ratio, the golden mean, and you'll see that these patterns are throughout this creation. Whether you're talking about hurricanes or conch shells or the spiral of the universe, it's all the same thing, or the growths of limbs there. So okay, let's have some questions here. I think I talked enough here. So has anybody got anything they want to say? Let me see if I can bring some people on here because pretty much talked out here. We invite some people. That I think Shammy was trying to call me. We get her on the channel. Rena, you should get on. I sent you one a while ago there, I'm sending one. Gonna send it to you again. Join in on the chat here. Melissa, you got anything to say?
Yeah, why don't you talk about faith healing?
Okay, great. There we go. All right, now I'm ready. You got me going. Okay, faith healing. Now, back in the late 80s, I went to Benny Hinn's church, okay? I don't know if a lot of people did hear about him, a lot of people didn't, but you got these great faith healers like Oral Roberts, Branham, you had Catherine Kuhlman, you also had Smith Wigglesworth. These are all the modern day faith healers, even though Smith Wigglesworth was a plumber back in the late 1800s. He was a faith healer. What's amazing about Wigglesworth? There was a couple testimonies about him. The name is Smith Wigglesworth. There's a book about him, and you could probably pull it up on YouTube. But he was a great faith healer where he did like extraordinary crazy things. Like for example, there was this baby that had an illness or whatever. What he did, seriously, he goes like this. He drop kicks the baby, drop kicks it, and kicks it across the room. And guess what? The baby's healed. Okay. And then his wife died on him, and he did not want his wife to die, so she died. So he picks her up, slams her against the wall, go, you know, uh, praise, life come back, and life comes back in her body. You know what she said to him? She says, "Just let me go to sleep again. It's much better." So he just let her go, and she just dropped dead again. I mean, these are true stories, and there's all kinds of different miraculous healings, like everything. And then what was really amazing, it was a couple times where the enemy sat down in a chair next to his bed and he rolled over. I mean, this is where his faith was. He saw the devil manifested in a chair next to the bed. He rolled over, he looked at it, he goes, "Oh, that's only you." Rolled over and go back to sleep, right? Again, just resist the enemy. Don't give me feel. And then he left. And then there was another time where he's in his bed. Bed is shaking, it's vibrating, it's moving and stuff. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "put the bed back the way you found it. Then you leave because I'm going back." And he went back to sleep. So the enemy literally moved the bed back into place and then just left, and he went back to sleep. So that's where his faith was in that. But that's one. Then you had Benny Hinn, where you heard of him, and I went to his healing services. He used to every Sunday night or every other Sunday night, you have like a healing service. So people come in, they have all kinds of sicknesses. I had a lot of friends who had scoliosis, tumors, all kinds of problems, and they walk out totally healed. I mean, I've seen it for a fact. So faith healing is something where your faith changes reality. It's the power of God. It's believing, but Jesus gives his word. Of course, even the centurion, he believed what Jesus said. The woman touched his garment and she was healed. He said, "Your faith has made you whole." But and then because he was in his hometown, I go, "Oh, is this Jesus, the son of the carpenter Joseph?" And because of that, he did not do many mighty miracles because of their unbelief. So those people's faith around him, or non-faith, kind of affected the way he could move out. That's the reason why when you go to these healing crusades, there's always an atmosphere of faith rising, and miracles happen much more. Now, when you go overseas to South Africa or wherever in the country where it's poor, destitute, where the only thing they got is God. They go, "God, you got to heal me now. I can't go to the doctor. We don't have medicine. We don't have doctors." So they're believing God to get healed, and guess what? They get healed. And there's another great evangelist too, Reinhard Bunke. There's a video going around years ago about this guy being raised from the dead. He was dead for 3 days, and they actually videotaped this guy coming back to life. So that's faith healing. Again, that's getting right back to what we're talking about. Reality being changing by your faith. And then think about Moses. He threw down his rod, became a snake. And get this, the magicians threw down their rods and they became snakes too. So they were manipulating reality in the same way. But the point of the whole thing is Moses' rod swallowed up the Egyptians' sorcerer's rod, proving that Moses had the final authority. Always remember that. The enemy can kind of manifest the same thing, but you have the final authority. You know. All right, let me look at the chat room again and see who's out there who's saying what here.
Talking about different names that they can use to call Jesus or God.
Oh, like Yeshua,
Mm-hmm.
Elohim.
I
I mean,
didn't see any Elohims, but
yeah, God has a whole like Jehovah Rapha, the Lord God our healer, Jehovah Shalom,
Jeho-
Shalom, the Lord our peace, Jehovah,
Jehovah Jireh.
Lord God our provider, Jehovah Teniskanu, the Lord who is there, or Shaman. There's a whole bunch of names I just don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, you could say in the name of Yeshua, name of Jesus, that is his name, And I even heard testimonies of this one guy. He came to our church. He was like driving. You know how you have like a 2-lane highway, one each way? Well, this one truck was passing the other truck, and this guy was going to have a head-on collision. At the last second, this guy called out, Jesus! And then he went right through the trucks. Like somehow the matter of his whole car and his being got where he could pass through trucks and came out on the other side. Supernatural miracles like that. I mean, anything's possible, guys. I mean, just believe. That's the reason why you're not limited. You really aren't. And getting back to like even Jim Carrey, he wrote himself a $10 million check, and then believing that, writing yourself a check, believing you're already rich, it'll start to manifest. First, it'll manifest in your mindset. You won't worry about not having enough. You'll start having more if you just simply believe that you're met. It's all faith based reality. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, certain people out there on the internet say that make your reality what you want it to be. And even if you don't even affect the physical world, you can affect the reality that's in your head, what you believe. That is the first thing you got to contend with. Once you start thinking right, renewing your mind, then things will start working out and you'll start acting out the way you want it to be. Simple as that. It's almost like psychology, but it goes beyond that. And then getting into supernatural things. Now, I talked about faith healing and all that stuff. How about Stan Lee with his X-Men? There's this YouTube video. Look up Stan Lee with X-Men, modern day. There's one guy always fascinates me. We call him the Iceman. He could sit in a tub of ice for 2 hours, in a tub of ice, not suffer hypothermia. He actually climbed Mount Everest with it, just his shorts. Went up Mount Everest in his shorts, came back down, no problem. Meanwhile, these other people go up there that got suits on and all this stuff, and they die. And some never make it back. They freeze to death up there. Yet this guy goes la 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 la, goes right up the mountain, comes right down. Hey, it's fine. It's a nice walk. So what's that? But he said he allows himself to be studied, and he allows himself to be studied by scientists, and they can't see how he does it. He just says, I meditate, and I don't know if it's a gifting he had or he just started believing it, but the physical elements do not affect his natural body. In fact, he can control his heart rate and all this stuff. So he's gone beyond the realm of the natural into the supernatural, controlling all this stuff. So that's another sign of him being his faith or his level does not only change the way you believe, but it affects the physical world. That's what I'm kind of talking about. And then of course the placebo effects where you heard they give sugar pills and these people get healed, and there's no way they would be healed except they believe that they were healed. And again, you're kicking into reality again. So can you see the theme where I'm heading? It's a faith-based reality. Your consciousness affects your reality, and the reason why even these changes can't affect your memory is because that's a thing that's you, your spirit, your soul. That's the true you. That's the true realities right there. Okay, when you die, You're no longer going to be in this earth. You're no longer going to be in this 3D time space reality. You're going to be in heaven or in hell, whichever. If you don't receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior and ask Him to forgive your sins, then you may wind up in hell. I mean, this is one point I will not compromise. Jesus is the only way to God. He's proven it. He became
Amen.
flesh, and this is it. I mean, this is the third one. I forgot to tell you. That's the third one. So come to Him. He'll give you abundant life, and He'll get rid of that old mind. We call it the mind of Adam, the stinking thinking, the thinking thinks, oh, I'm worthless or I can't do it or whatever. And He gives you the mind of Christ, which is the mind of all things are possible. And of course, Jesus demonstrated all this. He walked on water. He controlled a storm. I'll tell you the storm story in a minute before I got saved. He also manifested food, like 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, fed 5,000 people. This is creating substance out of nowhere. That's an information thing where he believed it and made it happen. Now, getting back to the storm story, I just remembered that one. Believe it or not, before I got saved, I used to get high, right? Well, me and my friend and his girlfriend, my girlfriend, were sitting there just getting high. All of a sudden, there was a storm outside. All of a sudden, I just had this knowing inside of me. I said, you know something? I can control that storm. They go, no, you can't. I said, well, just wait. So I went outside, right? I mean, for some crazy reason, I believed I could control it. So I said, I want 3 flashes of lightning right now. One, two, three. And for 10 minutes was doing everything I said. And then after 10 minutes, I got freaked out because I thought I was going to get struck by lightning. Took off and went home. But my friends were like telling people, yeah, I was controlling the storm. And I had a couple of people walk up to me. I heard you could control storms. I said, yeah, I guess I did. But it never really happened again. But the thing is, even though I was unsaved, because I believed that I could control the storm, it actually happened. I could control it. So that's where the people who don't know God do manifestation of supernatural things, witchcraft, sorcery. It's like that, but they're again using the same principle of believing that they can do it. That's how it works, the reality. But again, the Bible says, "Was a prophet a person, or a prophet of man to be more accurate, to gain the whole world, to have everything, all the money, all the power, everything your heart's desire, but then lose your own soul. Because remember, your life is like a little vapor. Put a little drop of water on a steaming pan. It's only there for an instant, it's gone. So count the cost, right? So that's why you should turn to Jesus. But I brought that story up too because I forgot to bring that one up. But that was another evidence too. And I'm sure there's people out there that might have had the same type of encounters. Let me look at the chat room here. I invited Rena to my room here. I sent you another invite there. It's funny. You must be part Indian. People say that. Because I do. Out of my whole family, I'm the one with the dark olive skin, and I love the Indian culture. I mean, talking about the Native American Indians, they are the most natural, spiritual people you'll find on the planet, besides the Jews. Of course, they believed in Mother Earth and all this stuff, and somehow they're trying to find who God is, without Christ. But you want to see something? When you see a Native American get saved, you see somebody who's already deep into the spirit right away because they don't have all these mindsets of like atheist or whatever coming to get saved. They're all automatically into that. But yeah, the Native Americans are like, totally awesome. They really are. They're my they're my favorite culture of people out of all the spectrum. Whether you got the white people, the blacks, the Orientals, it's the Native Americans I have a especially fond passion for. And I love Lone Eagle. He's awesome. That's a shout out to you, my good man. All right, what else we got on the chat board here? All right, I'll try to send you another invite there. How am I going to do this? What we got? Oh, let me see. All right, I'm gonna try one. I sent like a whole bunch of them on the Facebook there. Let me do this. I had your email from my phone. I'll try one more time. Go ahead, Melissa. Can you go ahead and fill in the dead airspace while I'm doing this? Thank you.
I was just looking up spiritual traditional um Indian stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You want to fill that in?
Well, I
Hey,
was just looking it up. I was just
hey,
looking.
Ty.
Really got my.
If you're out there, I'll send you an invite too. I did send you one earlier, but we're still going strong. So if you want to get on, that might be a link that might not be good. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Ty for a minute if he's out there watching. Um, okay, let me get back to Santa Rena. So I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead there, Melissa. Say whatever you want to say. The floor is yours.
Oh, I really don't know what to say. You're so good at covering these. Oh, are you gonna talk about the feeding of the dogs?
Feeding of the dogs.
Remember? Explain that.
Oh, hold on. Oh, the crumbs off the master's table, of course.
Yay!
Let me get this. Let me get this invite sent one more time. I have the text from Rena. Hold on.
I probably need to change my little character that I have on
Oh, there
here.
it is. Okay, now she should have it. Her picture came up this time. Okay, let's talk about the crumbs off the master's table. We love that.
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
All right, let me tell you about the crumbs off the master's table. Well, one day, there was this lady. She wasn't a Jew. She was, the heathen, and he was asking her. I think she was asking Jesus to heal somebody. And Jesus, it's not right to give the children's bread to dogs because anybody who wasn't a Jew then was considered a dog, a heathen, So they're kind of worthless, That's the way the Jewish culture felt like everybody else. But then she came back with faith and said, that's true. She acknowledged it. Lord, I'm not worthy, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that come off the master's table. And you know what he said when she came back with that? See, she stepped down face. Said, okay, yeah, I'm a worthless dog, but you know what? I'm still coming to you because I want this, and I know you're going to give it to me. Faith. And you know what he says? What you wanted is granted unto your faith has healed your daughter or whatever. I don't know the exact verbiage of the pastor, but that's what happened. She came back with faith, and you have to have a tenacity. You have to have persistence. Another scripture about the unjust judge, how he says, "I neither fear God nor man," but because you keep persisting, bother me day after day, the justice that you wanted, I'll grant it to you. So you kind of got to, and people in goals in life, you have to set goals in life and you have to keep working at them, and then slowly you'll start making changes. But without goals and without persistency, you're not going to have anything done. You got to keep trying. It says, at first you don't succeed, try again, right? And then it says in Proverbs, a righteous person. Now it's talking about a righteous person. He may fall 7 times. So this is a righteous person falling every single time, 7 times, but he gets up every time. But the godless and the wicked stay down. So even all the screw ups, it takes faith to keep going, to keep walking. That's just the way it is. Anything else?
Um, did you cover everyone's stuff
I'm
in the chat room?
Yeah, let me take another look. Um, oh, David got anything? Or Mr. Kenny, you got anything? I'll go see.
Oh, the lion
Lion,
and the lamb.
the lion and the lamb, my favorite. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, the lion and the lamb. Well, we all know that got changed. Well, I want to point out about that. You know how like the King James Bible gets changed, but some of the other translations may not get changed. But with Isaiah 11:6, remembering as being the lion and the lamb, now change into the wolf lies down with the lamb. That change was not only made within the translated scriptures, but was made actually back in the original Hebrew. Because when you go back to the original Hebrew, it says the wolf shall lie down with the lamb. So that particular original text got changed by the Mandela effect, which is really interesting. Because, like the NIV, when it talks about the bruising, crushing of the head, that wasn't changed. But in the King James, it was. So yeah, that was a good one. That always wakes up people. Oh, there you are.
It worked. It worked.
Oh, all right. So yeah, what happened was when I sent it, it just had a little mail icon, but then when I saw it somehow came up with your face on there, and when I sent to that, that was the right one. So, okay, what you got to say? I want to hear what you have to say there, Rena.
Oh, not much. Just sitting outside looking at the moon. Nice rainbow looking thing around it right now. It's pretty
Oh,
bright.
oh, you got what's the real bright where you see like actually a rainbow around the moon?
Yeah, it looks like kind of like red and purple and blue.
Yeah, exactly. That's they call that it's like a nighttime version of the daytime rainbow. Oh, that
Yeah,
reminds me, the rainbow. I think I told you guys about the rainbow and Jesus Christ, the similarities. You want to hear that again, ladies?
go for it.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if everybody out there heard about this, but this is the revelation I got from God about the rainbow. Remember the rainbow? How it was a sign to Noah that God would not flood the earth ever again. It was a covenant promise. The rainbow represents the covenant between God and man. And God made a covenant with man. I will not flood the earth again. That's the reason why he had the rainbow. But before that, the way the ground would get water is through the dew. It was never really a rain until the flood, and that's the first time it rained. But then so that's why every time you see a rainbow, it's reminding people that God's not, even though it rains, because that's how you see a rainbow, that God would not flood the earth. Now, the physics of a rainbow is real interesting, okay? What two things do you need to make a rainbow? Well, obviously, you need water, them little water droplets, those transparent little water droplets, and you need light, right? Now, who in the Bible can identify those two objects? We're going to say Jesus. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, that's right. Jesus is the light of the world. He goes, I am the light of the world. He who believes in me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. So Jesus is light, right? What's the second thing you need to make rainbow? Water. Water in the Bible is represented by the Word of God, the washing of the water of the Word. The Word represents water, right? So Jesus, before he was made flesh, he was the eternal Word of God. But then he was made flesh and became, born of a virgin, and there he was, Jesus, right? So let's go through the colors of the rainbow. So you got those two elements to make the rainbow. The rainbow is a representation of Jesus Christ, okay? Let's start with the first color. The first color on top of the rainbow is red, right? Jesus said, I've come down from heaven. And the first color is red. Well, the first 33 years Jesus was on the earth, he walked as a man, flesh, blood, as and then when he died on the cross, he shed his blood. That's the first color that comes. And that color red, it covers all the other colors because that's the atoning color. So therefore, all the other colors are sanctified by red, which is the blood of Jesus. The next color is orange, or a fiery color. This is when Jesus' body goes from life to the death on a cross. When he died, he says, it is finished. So then orange represents fiery trials, bronze, suffering. That's all in the color of orange fire. So he goes from life to death. Next color is yellow, right? 3 days later, he was resurrected. Yellow is the brightest of all the colors in the rainbow spectrum. So he was resurrected, and the glory of God, and that's where the color yellow comes from. Then the next color is green, which represents life, life abundantly. You notice how the earth is covered with green, the photosynthesis, all the green plants represents life. That was his 40 days of him walking on the earth as being life. Good. Yeah, I like that. Let me go ahead and screen present the rainbow while we're talking. Actually, that's a reverse rainbow. We need one with the red on top there. But anyhow,
A lot of people remember that rainbow though, the other way. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, it's the one that goes with the sky. But the one that's so you got yellow, which is the resurrection, and then you got green, which is his 40 days on earth being, you know, in his glorified body, which is his body is no longer a natural body, it's a glorified body, which means he's now in a state where he can go through walls and all that. And then when he ascended up to heaven, right? What's the next color on the rainbow? Is blue. Blue is the color of the high priest. And it says that he is now ascended up in heaven as our high priest of intercession for us, you know. So now he's our high priest. And then indigo is like a darker color blue, which is a part of that. And then when he comes back down to earth for a reign for 1,000 years as king, the next color is purple, right? Which represents royalty, authority, kingship. And not only that, he'll be on the earth. So the color purple is the last color. It's the closest color to the earth. So therefore, it represents Christ being on earth for 1,000 years. Then after that 1,000 years, the Bible doesn't say any more about Christ's interaction with the earth except for new heavens and new earth. Okay, so there you have it. The 7 colors of the rainbow showing the different states of Christ's body, of his interaction. Christ is a revelation to us of God. So the rainbow reveals Jesus to us through the colors, like the red being the lamb, and then dying, resurrecting, green being on the earth with us, and then blue being our high priest, and then purple being, our king. So it shows all his different states of manifestation through the covenant promise. But before the rain ever falls, when you have the light consists of all the colors. All them colors are hidden in the white light. That's why God is hidden in white light. But it takes the water that falls, the water of the word takes the word to reveal Jesus unto us. Jesus is our revelation of God. And he is our covenant, our promise of salvation. Jesus is our covenant. Now, you know how the enemy likes to twist things, take sex, makes it perverted. He takes anything, makes a music perversion. Well, the rainbow's not one. Now, I know my homosexual communities go, maybe taking offense, but, this is the way it rolls, man. The rainbow is the authentic icon of God's covenant love and grace. And a lot of people interpret the rainbow as freedom and all that, and that's good. I like that. Great. But it is not a symbolism of the LGBT community. What happened was I studied this too. His name was Gilbert. Can't remember his last name, but in 1978 he was a Betsy Ross of the gay flag, and he made the gay flag. First they had the pink in there, but they couldn't use that, so they wound up having 6 colors of rainbow, and that's what they have today. And they adopted that as being a symbolism of the homosexual community, gay pride and stuff. But when I see the rainbow flag, I say to myself, this is the sign of Christ. And all the Christians should just go ahead and take it back for God. Seriously. I mean, those colors are God's colors. And yeah, they have it for their own agenda, but we're taking it back for Christ, okay? The rainbow is God's covenant sign. And here's another interesting aspect about the color rainbow. At 42, from 40 to 42 degree angle is when you can see all the colors. At 42-degree angle, when the light shines on its raindrops, it produces red. And then at 41, all the way up to 40 degrees, 40 degrees is where the purple is. But when you go outside that range, you will not see it. But that's the revealing of God, and 40 is a significant number. And so that's the revelation I got out of the rainbow from God. And I thought about it. I said, this absolutely makes sense, because a lot of people interpret the Old Testament as a shadow of the substance of the New Testament. Well, Jesus is the substance, and like I said, two things: water. That's who Jesus is. It's a testimony of Him. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my revelation of the rainbow for the whole Christian community. And one note too, back when you had the late '60s, early '70s, when they had all them colors flying, I think God was giving that invitation for some Bible guy to say, "Hey, the cross and the old fish for the symbol of Christ, we can use the rainbow to use as a revelation of Christ." But good old Gilbert, you know what they say, the guy who stakes his claim first, the guy who discovers something first, he's the one that gets rights to that claim of whatever icon it is. So, chalk one up for the enemy, but you only just got that one, but we could still take it back. So, ladies, jump on in. I'm getting a little weary here. I need to take a quick break, but you carry on. I'll be back in a few minutes. Go ahead and talk. I'll be back in a couple minutes. I don't want to have dead air.
So what's up, guys? What's up, Melissa?
Hey, I thought I'd just play some music so he doesn't have dead air.
There you go. What are you playing?
It just says "Wish You'd Come."
Nice. I don't know what to say. Let's see what the chat says. Second rainbow, the colors are different. Not anymore.
Yeah, we can't have too much music on here because they're going to flag me for copyrights. You know what I'm saying? You could play like a 10-second clip, but we can't be rolling with a whole song.
It's pre-approved YouTube face music.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Cool. Well, we had some intermission music. Was that it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I get Ty in on here. I mean, he tried. We sent some more of these. Whatchamacallit? Try it again here. Send our link to him. Yeah, because I'm starting to get like chat weary, Okay. Who's got something to say on the chat room there? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see this. Okay, let's read some. Mandela Mile. Wow, I like that. It says, I saw a triple rainbow. That is pretty cool. And when you see it, I know when you saw like a double rainbow, it's sort of like inverted. Like the red is on bottom and the purple's on top there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't even see that, and you just said it. The second rainbow, the colors are backwards. That's because the inversion of it. It's like optics there. David, Yeshua is Lord. You're absolutely right. Can you provide the source that the Hebrew Bible has changed? You're talking about the actual original Hebrew of the Old Testament. Is that right, David? I'll wait for you to reply. I know there's like a delay. And Melissa, your prayers have worked. My hotel internet hadn't kicked out on me. Well, anyhow, waiting for that. Let me scroll back up on the chat room. Um, let's see. I sent out some invites. Let me see if I can get Brian in on here. He's probably up, don't you think? I gotta get some people in here.
I thought he went to bed, or maybe that was Teresa. I don't know.
Tell you what, let me get this phone call and I'll get right back to you guys. Okay.
Tom's a busy guy. It's 11:19 p.m. here in Michigan. Can you provide a source that they give a balance change? Like, you mean like a real source where people are a residue or what? Oops. Breaking stuff over here, guys. Right about now, they would take out that big old cane and they would just like kind of pull me off stage and be like, "Brr," before they start throwing like pies and food at me. Da, 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 da.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry.
Hey, you're back. What's up? Did your internet crap out?
My computer is older and like much. Oh, there it did again. I hope it didn't shut off. Oh, okay. Thought I lost you there for a second. Um. Anyways, it's older and it likes to shut down on me.
It's got a mind of its own.
It's like an older person. It just needs breaks.
I'm tired of this. It falls asleep.
Yeah, well.
I used to work in a nursing facility, and that would happen a lot. They would literally just be like talking, and then they just like and just fall asleep, and you're like, then they'd wake up and pick up right where they left back off. You're like, what? Wait, I thought you were going to sleep. Nope, just shut down. Man, I don't want to get old.
Uh, it's free nature. Sorry, you're gonna get old.
I know. Curse of man. Tom got a call, so he
Yeah.
went to go take it.
Sorry.
No.
So, what's going on in your life that you want to discuss in open air where everyone can hear you?
um, just sitting here. Everyone's asleep, so can't take
Aw.
this time to just chill. Yeah, been a busy day. Just toddlers do not get tired at all. I don't know
They
where this
do.
endless energy comes from.
I did not finish that. Oops. Hi, Diane. How are you? It's Diane, right?
Diane, Diane in the house.
So, nothing interesting at all?
Not really. Just looking for a different job and had a few callbacks, but everything's kind of like they want you third shift and 12-hour days, and you're like, oh, I don't think that's
12-hour
good.
days.
Yeah, because it's like you work a few days, 12 hours, and then you'll get a couple days off. So you can make it work somehow, but it's still like basically just work, go to sleep, work, go to sleep, work, go to sleep. And then you're like, oh, I have 2 days to try to normalize. And then it's back to the same old grind or whatever. Not my kind of cup of tea. It's hard to do with kids, that kind of schedule. So it takes a very special person to do that. They have a high turnover rate, and I can see why.
Is it like Amazon fulfillment center you're talking about?
Well, it's like a factory. They
Because
do
that's the
car
only thing
stuff.
that came to mind when you said that. I've had family and people work for them, and yeah, that's what happens there.
Nice. Yeah, I believe it. We have a lot of manufacturing here in Holland and Zealand. This whole side of the city is all about car stuff. So it's mainly most of the jobs, factories.
There's a place near you. I don't know exactly where it is. You got to find it for me. But they make homemade candles. Like they dip it in there and all the different colors, and then they cut the candles. And it's a very old place. It's been around for a very long time. Um,
Oh,
it,
I know.
yeah,
I think I know where they do it. They do that at Dutch Village here, and then they do that on Windmill Island.
yeah.
Um,
I want to go there sometime. I'm gonna have to like. You said it's
yeah,
called Dutch
it's
Island,
Windmill Island.
Windmill Island. Okay,
Yeah, it's really cool. They make some
Windmill.
beautiful, beautiful candles.
Right.
I had one before, and it's just like you don't want to burn it because they're just too pretty.
Yeah, we went
Just
there when
works
I
of
was
art.
a little girl with my dad. So I thought,
Really?
wow, there's so many places I really would love to go, but um,
Oh, I know.
you just don't go by yourself normally.
I know.
So
Well,
one day,
definitely. One
maybe
day
we.
too, I said, I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna go meet all these people and do all these things. I never got to. But there's still time left, right? Just the money part. That's the hard part. Get the money to do it.
Everything that's going
Hmm?
I just with everything that's going on in the world and what we see, we have eyes and ears to see. We can hear,
Yeah,
and I don't
it is. Yeah,
as
I
much as
definitely
we
I
would give.
had.
I think that the Lord
Yeah,
would not give us eyes to see and ears to hear and show us all this stuff and then just come and say, "Hey, come on, let's go." There's
right.
got to be a purpose or a reason. So just thinking about how the Lord has brought so many people from certain situations to where they are now. Like what they've gone through to be able to deal with the things they did early on in life, and still some people now, and like I'm still dealing with stuff now, in order to strengthen us to rely on the Lord even more so than ever before, um, and
Hmm.
and giving us all this insight and stuff because there's something bigger coming that he's molding us and he's making us into what he wants us to be the perfect disciples or the perfect the ones to go out and speak the truth And I mean, I just feel that we're being molded, but we have to learn to speak utter truth. And there are a lot of people out there that still have, that they're not even awake. They still have problems with utter truth. I don't know. It's hard because then you go and you talk to someone and they're not even awake. So it's almost like you feel
I
like you're
know.
banging your head against the wall.
Yeah, I know. I had to give up on that too. I'm like, oh, see, some of the changes, like, I don't know. I think it's the syncs really that get me and
Yeah, you
becoming
gotta,
obsessed with it. That's
I
hard
just
for
gotta
me
say,
because
you need to walk away from that.
no, it's
You really,
bad.
you need to let go of that.
I
And
have. It's just, they just come back. Like the day that I gave up on all of it, it was like literally like 10 seconds after 10 seconds, every step that I took, boom, here's a sync, boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh my, leave me alone. I rebuke you. Like, it was like an attack. It was literally an attack. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like, this can't be real. I was like, this is really happening right now. It was just overwhelming. It's crazy. It's trying to suck you back in. Come back to the dark. But no. Nope, nope, nope.
ugh, my cows are like acting so strange lately too. I can always
Yeah.
tell like something's changed. Something's not the same. Um, there's Tom because the cows just act different. Like today, they were wanting attention. All of them. They're standing right there. They'd been fed. They'd had their hay. I'd loved on them. I'd brushed them, and they still were standing there mooing at me,
Aw,
just wanting more love. Like they couldn't get enough love.
You gotta love
aw.
them cows. You gotta love them till they all come home. When the cows come home,
They they
And
stay home.
Cal.
They don't go away.
they just keep moving along. So, what else you guys want to talk about?
I'm gonna sign off of here, but I'll have it so I can listen because I don't want these screen splitter thingamajobbers going down. Okay.
Screen splitters?
Yeah, on my computer because it's going out, and if I keep it up like this, it could burn it out faster, and I don't want that to happen.
Oh, is that old computer you have?
Stop it.
Is that the one that's the Craigslist curve alert?
Hey,
What?
my computer's a dinosaur just like me, so stop it.
No, you're not a dinosaur. But computer, well,
Okay, before I go, you gotta tell everybody the reaction to when I sent you two pictures of myself, and I meant to send them to my other friend.
Oh yeah, that was great. What,
Oh,
I,
oh no,
I
wait,
made a
let me
comment.
set it up. Hold on. So I'm texting one of my other friends, and and I'm like, well, I'll just send these two pictures, and I sent them, and I didn't think anything of it, and then I drove home, and I got home, and I'm like, look at it, and it's not there. So then I'm like, looking at the next person that I talked to, and it was Tom, and I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, Tom, I'm so sorry I sent you pictures.
But
Okay, now you can tell them.
I'm
That's
trying to remember
funny.
what I said here. I think I got to look at my face thing, and
Oh,
I don't know what it is, but lately, I don't want to agree with anything, but I just it takes a little more time for me to remember things these days. I don't know, it's an effect or whatever, but I got the memory of the righteous is blessed here. So, oh yeah, Facebook over here. All right, let's take a look at this. What did I say? Everybody wants to know. They're on edges right now. What did Tom say? Okay, here. Okay, there we are. Let's get those wonderful little pictures up.
don't don't show it. Don't
No, no,
share
I'm
it.
not. I'm not gonna share
Oh,
anything. Just
oh
I have
God,
my little. Oh, there.
I'm
Okay.
starting to
I
sweat.
see. Oh, pretty face with or without glasses.
Aw, that's cute.
Isn't that cute?
And then he was then he was like, well, when I talked to him, he was like, well, I was thinking about sending you back a picture with me with my glasses on and me without my glasses.
Yeah, it's sort of like the non-glasses with glasses communication. You know, I can always say you're a sight. It's a sight for sore eyes, right?
Oh, goodness. I just had to share that because it was funny.
It was good. It was very, very entertaining. That's what we're all about is entertainment here. I mean, when it comes to Mandela effects, Hollywood has absolutely nothing on it. You know, I mean, folks who are out there listening to the broadcast or watching broadcasts, like I said, I'll have to put in a plug in for the Mandela effects. Greatest show on the earth. I mean, true. You know, when they had the changes to the human skull, right? The changes, and all of a sudden, what now? Oh yeah, the 6 holes in the head. I said to myself, I need this like a hole in the head. You know, I mean, it's crazy. So,
Okay, I'm
all right,
looking.
all right, Melissa,
All
you
right,
tapping out. Well,
I'm
make
just
sure,
shutting a window down, so
yeah,
this is the one.
yeah, shut that old timing computer down. You know, I say we could probably put a museum or something, use it for an antique.
Yeah. I've got like tons of extra computers. I should just give her one.
Yeah, you
Something
should.
much bigger.
Is it like at least 4 or 5 years old?
They're like 2 years old. I just have
Oh, really?
tons of
Wow.
them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely box it up and send it to her. That'll be a definite upgrade.
definitely. They're
And then
just
she can,
sitting, not being used. I'm like, I have my Surface and other stuff that I use, but they're just whatever.
yeah, I got probably about like 4 or 5 desktops at home, plus a couple laptops. Then I got an iPad, and
Yeah,
you know,
we're techie people.
oh yeah, exactly. My youngest daughter, she's totally into like technology. You know, I got her PS4, and her and her boyfriend have this YouTube channel like TNT Gaming, and they're on there live. They're trying to get subscribers. That's where Brian got his idea about the shout outs. He got it from my daughter. That's how
Nice.
that's how she tries to boost up the ratings. You know. Oh, there he is. Hey, Ty, what's up?
Hi.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you good.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the audio is a little louder. Yes, it's good.
Hold on. Now is it okay?
Oh, now it sounds good. I guess you killed a fan or something in the background. Something making noise.
Perfect.
It's
God, it's Rena. I can't believe it. Hey, Rena.
How are you doing?
Hold on. Good. No camera. Okay. I tried to find you guys before, but
what happened was I had a link earlier, and then I lost internet connection at the hotel, and then I had to restart another thing. I sent another one. It just until Melissa prayed for my internet to stay on with the hotel. It worked too, you know, of course.
that's good. That's good.
When women of faith have that kind of effect, you know, things just work out.
So what's going on?
Well,
I tried to get in a second ago, but I had to redo it because I wasn't signed in.
yeah, no, I was just basically getting a review of faith and stuff. I just shooting off while I was researching about faith and law of attraction and quantum mechanics, and then I threw in my little rainbow revelation in there too about Christ with the rainbow.
Okay. Yeah, because that's quite a long way from the laws of attraction down
I was jumping.
to quantum mechanics.
I was going all over the place, you know. If you once this thing gets recorded back up, you can jump through it. You'll find some dead air, but I was going for a while, you know.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've been looking at quite a MIA for a while. I've been so busy. But every time I get on, I get the. I'm sure you all get the 10,000. What is it? Messages from Teresa, just like I do, right? Whatever's going on that particular day. You get messages
Oh
from
yeah.
Teresa too. Yeah, every day. It's like you get 6 or 7
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
urgent
you get
messages.
those. Oh, you get those things too, like links to YouTube and
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff.
urgent messages from Teresa. This has changed. That's changed. Those most minute changes.
Oh yeah.
The dose of something from Brian every day. Some message that it tells everyone that he's thinking of them. Which is nice. I don't see you too often because you're just not online either. You don't message anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm down here working in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be going back tomorrow. Since
Right.
last night, yee-hawing.
I figured, and of course you're caught up in the internet connection garbage. So
Oh, I use my hotspot. My hotspot on my phone works great, but in this particular hotel, I'm at the mercy of the hotel internet instead of my hotspot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other ones seem to be trapped in. They have another hangout that they do. The Gathering. Have you heard of the Gathering?
The what?
The other group called the Gathering.
No, I haven't heard of them.
It's Harold and it's which is the Joker.
Oh
and
yeah.
The rest of them, they do the Gathering and
they do it during the daytime.
They do it at night, but they're off the wall.
Oh yeah.
They're nice, but they're it's you can understand. Just name those names, it's a smattering of everything.
Yeah. It's like you get the right. I find you get the right combination of people in a group, man. It could be really like awesome, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm surprised those people haven't started fires yet because that's the way they are. Obviously. But yeah, I was just talking about Rena here the other day. It's like, geez, there's this person on Facebook. It's Rena. I said I never seem to get a hold of Rena ever.
Hey, let me make this.
So in other words,
so what you're saying, Ty, is like you were just recently saying, I never talked to Rena or ever get, and all of a sudden, bam, you're here now talking to her now, right?
Exactly. It happens. I speak things.
I find
all the time.
I find this happening. Okay, this is crazy, but it's like, you talk. Hey, there's a little puppy. But I was saying to myself, I've been down in Fort Lauderdale in a year, and then next thing I know, I'm down here like a few days after I said, "Oh, I haven't been down here in a year." It's almost like you observe.
Of course, you're under contract for who? Who are you under contract for? Verizon or who?
No. Oh, you mean the phone?
Yeah. No, who are you under contract for that you're being pulled out wherever you need to go?
It's for like Xerox. I work on machines and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Your doggo is not happy.
Yeah, she is happy. She just wants attention.
Aww.
Yeah.
Wants attention.
Little puppy.
Come on. Okay, we love her. Right here. Okay. Yeah. So my wife totaled her truck, and like I was telling you, Tom, remember she totaled the truck.
Oh yeah. You told me that the deer did a number on that thing, huh?
He totaled, and we finally got everything squared away with that. Unfortunately, the physical aspect of it with her is bad. Back to work. She's going to be out of work until they release her. And her primary doctor wants her to go see yet another specialist just to make sure, because she did something with her vertebrae in her neck and everything. They just want to make sure. But I'm telling her it's probably going to be another month of work. Yeah. So just to be cautious. And that's of course I have a unique situation, of course, because obviously we have insurance, we have everything. So I can't complain at all.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so everything's fine. It's just she's still in school because she's studying to be an RN, and at least she's got more time to do that. But I'm still worried just the same, obviously.
Yeah.
But then and it's Christmas season, so it means that the tree is up, the house is clean, everything's great. Because I have the time. That's what it is. My one of my youngest son's girlfriend is about to have the baby, and so we're going back and forth. Like tonight, we had to go to the hospital because she's technically in labor right now.
Oh wow.
In the next couple of days, yeah. But again, care of too, because it's all old hat to us. We know what to do, so they have everything. They have their place that we moved them out of a place that we didn't like to another place here closer to us, and they're all moved in. They got all their stuff. Everything's great.
So you got another hatchling on the way. That's good.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't like the baby's name. If they want to name the baby Sydney, okay, it's gonna be a Sid. I don't want the baby Sid, but whatever.
Hey, he's the one that tortures toys, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. No, he's actually he's a really good kid. It's gonna be a girl. And what are you gonna do? I can't complain, but sometimes I still do.
Oh, just speaking of Toy Story, there was a new change where Woody goes, "There's a snake in my boots." It said a snake in my boot. That was a new one. I just saw that one. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's now boots? Snake in my boots, plural. It's just boot.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's that
for an absolute certainty. I can tell you for an absolute certainty that all of the changes with the anatomy, and what we saw, because my wife, of course, is already a nurse, but she's going to be a different kind of nurse now. Studying it again, and what she's studying again in her anatomy are completely different. Everything is named something else now.
Oh,
completely
really?
Different.
So it's like what you remembered is different then.
Yeah, not only what you remembered, it's you remember when you went to school, when I went to school. Yeah. Okay, we're thinking back to whatever class we took from whatever book we read to what she's applying at work right now. She's working right now as a nurse, and she's finding that is named 5 different things. The skull is named five different things, or whatever it is. What it used to be named. And now it's 5 different things, including the name that she knows. She said that's not true.
Yeah, see, the thing, like with us, like since we've always been staring at the skull forever and a day in the last year or two with the Mandela effect, it's like soon as I remember Moneybags put a video out, he says, now we see these new 6 holes, and he did a video on the skull like a few months before then, and he never mentioned about the holes, but now the holes appear.
Do you remember right here? Do you remember right here? Is where I'm pointing at my face here, right here. Remember right here where there's a bone right here? Remember the sharp bone that we were talking about?
Yeah.
He said yes. That's definitely. He said that is not. No, it would not be before. Exactly. She said, of course, that the bones were never there before. There's all the ribs, of course, as you all know, they're completely wrong. They're completely wrong. They never connected. They never did any of that thing. The number's wrong. The configuration's wrong. And I tell her, yeah, we call it battle armor. That's what it looks like battle armor. She goes, yes, it does. So it is completely different, completely wrong.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how many changes been coming down the pike. I mean, you think about anything, it's been changed, whether it's a logo, the body, real estate, history.
The other thing is that the political.
Oh yeah, that's a circus.
It's never. Rita, you're younger. You're a lot younger, but it never ever even during the time of Nixon and Carter, Reagan, when they were in concert hearings with Monica Lewinsky and Clinton and all that other stuff that was going on. ever have the news cycles moved this fast. Never. We never had anything this bad. What is it? The Matt Lauer? Is that the one from the Today Show that got these big people? Harvey Weinstein, Matt Lauer, and another guy that got fired. And Charlie, can you believe Charlie Rose got fired? Can you believe Charlie Rose got fired?
How about that? Somebody got booted today. What was his name? The NBC guy. Matt Lauer.
No.
He got tossed to the curb, man.
Yeah, these people are the most liberal people that you can possibly get. They would ever be tossed. No way. They're
Yeah,
usually such a tight knit group. Doesn't
right.
matter what they do. My God, you could walk into a dinner and you would just make an excuse for it. You'd be like, well, he's not feeling well, and then it would be it. It would never make the news. That would be it. But now I've never ever seen anything like it.
I
And
know.
with North Korea acting the way that North Korea is acting, you got to be absolutely crazy. Did you see the United Nations Security Council ambassador talking?
No, I didn't see it.
The
What
United
happened?
Nations Security. It was just today. The United Nations Security or the United States says, look, and this I'm paraphrasing, but she said almost exactly this. She said, look, United States does not want war, want to fight North Korea, but if we have to fight North Korea, we will destroy North Korea. And when she said it, she looked like she was unhappy to say it because she's told what to say. She doesn't think on her own. She's an ambassador. Destroy North Korea, and we don't want to, but if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll do. And of course we'll destroy North Korea. It's terrible. And I was looking.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the military applications that the United States has. I was reading about Great Britain.
Right.
From Great Britain's politicians, from their military. This is from Great Britain's military. And Great Britain's military said, quote, listen to this one. This is just crazy. Great Britain's said, of course, the United States is, quote unquote, light years ahead of us.
Right.
Great Britain is a world-class power. Great Britain, you understand, is a world-class power. They're ranked like number 5 in the world. I mean, they're a world-class power. You don't know. And their military is saying light years ahead of them.
They might just be. I mean, we have a lot of real estate, a lot of R&D.
I think. Well, I didn't realize years, and I was looking to see what we have now. I was looking to see of this. I don't know if you've ever heard this. They have a thing, an armored vehicle. You have an armored vehicle, and they were talking here. I use this. They have an armored vehicle,
right?
And they wanted some way for missiles to, where the RPGs come and they tend to blow up our. Right? And they said if there was some way that they could make a defensive, like a shield around the vehicle, that'd be great. And I'm watching it.
Right.
Out there proposing that they have an automatic system within the vehicle that if anything approaches the vehicle in a tenth of a second, disarm whatever's coming at it from any direction. They got this thing so it doesn't blow up the vehicle. That would be great if we could come up with something like that, a defensive shield on all these vehicles. That would be great.
Yeah.
And they were working on that, up with something. And I said, well, they did come up with something back in 2008.
Unbelievable.
10 years old. They've had that for 10 years already. I've never heard of that. Have you?
No.
Have you heard of any type of? No. I'm calling Mandela effect.
Yeah.
I'm calling Mandela effect.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, I think the way these effects are increasing, it's like crazy. I mean, it's like on a roll like next to none. I mean, like everything in reality.
It's so bad I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it.
Man.
On one side, I'm dealing with people that don't know
Yeah, you told
who's
me
that
that
guy.
they don't remember what you were talking about or dealing with. It's like
Right, right. No, on one side, I'm dealing with people who are talking still about Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson. I can't believe Louis Anderson's still alive and he was supposed to be dead. Yes, of course, we went through that last year.
Yeah,
But people wanted, this is why I want to talk to you. Those people, people have been dealing with more and more Mandela effects as of late, like there's been another shift. Has there been another shift that you're aware of?
well, I knew there was another shift about 3 weeks or so ago, because when I went food
What happened?
shopping last week, I go up and down aisles of Publix when I go food shopping with my wife, because it's like my newest pastime now. I'm not like tortured anymore. I'm like, yeah, let's go food shopping. And I like look at the aisle, and all of a sudden I found these new changes, and I know they weren't there like a month beforehand. You know, so then I find all these new changes. I get the old camera out, the phone, take a picture of it. Then I go home and look it up on Wikipedia or whatever, make sure it was a retroactive change. But it's like
Well, that's the thing about the retro brought up. That retroactive change.
yeah,
What happens is that things don't just, this is the one thing that's most mind-boggling with the Mandela effect is that the changes are, seem to be like going backward. We find something
right,
residual, and
yeah.
then we go to look again, and it seems like not only is there not, we don't have the residual anymore, it seems like it's always been that way for time and eternity.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
That's
said
how it
boots.
works. But like what I was saying in my video earlier, way earlier, was the past in itself is an illusion, because the only way you relate to the past is always looking through the eyes of the present. Even your old King James Bible from Grandma, when it
Right?
became couch, you remember it as
Right?
being, pick up thy mat. You remember that. You remember reading
Right?
that reality happened.
Right?
But then when the Mandela effect changed, it changed everything. But that's the reality now. Like if you were to time travel and go back into the past, then you go back to the Bible being saying
Right?
the mad again. It doesn't retroactively change the past. And the reason why you remember it, because your consciousness most partly is not affected by the Mandela effect, especially when you're awake to it. You know, you
Well,
kind of,
I think it's only when you're awake to it. That's the
yeah,
thing. Because we're not, because we are privy to the new effects as well.
yeah, I know. I mean,
We're
the
still
thing is,
moving.
it seems more people have become more aware, but more acutely aware. Like Teresa, she tells me how she sees real time changes right before her eyes. I only had that happen to me 2 times in my Mandela career.
Me too. Me
It's a
too.
very rare
Me
thing.
too. Just a couple times. That's it. And when it happens, you're scratching your eyes. You're wondering what happened. But with
No,
Teresa,
I
it
just
happens all the
that.
time.
Yeah, but it's like Teresa freaks out about it. But I said, man, I can remember the 2 times. It's like it's such an all amazing effect. It's better than going bungee jumping or skydiving. It's like so cool. You see it, it shifts.
Yeah, but one of the things is Teresa is different because Teresa is very much alone. She's alone,
Yeah,
alone. She doesn't have
right.
anyone around her at all,
True.
and so that's very, very, very tough for her. And she, as much as anybody else does, but she reacts to it because she sees so many things in real time. And
Yeah,
she remember her Skechers,
yeah. She
no
told me.
Skechers, the Skechers. He is crazy. She's really having a hard time.
Wow.
But hopefully, I don't know if she's doing okay because I haven't talked to her, and I don't know. It's had to be a month now. I haven't been able to get a hold of her
Yeah,
in real time. That's what's happened.
I've been reconnecting with people the last couple of days because I haven't been out for a long time. But yeah,
So
I talked
how's
to
her
her.
friend?
She's doing better. I just told her, listen, just just don't get all serious and affected by it. Just pretend it's the greatest show on earth. Enjoy it. I mean, just have that attitude. Seriously, man. I mean, I don't know what people think. They go, "Oh, we want it back the old way. We don't want things changed." I said, I can't for the life of me dream or realize a reality that's static, that's fixed, never changing. That to me is now really kind of strange. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You get so used to it now.
Yeah, of course. And now I'm so used to it that I'm looking for the change. Yeah, the social economic things have changed, changing just like I said, too fast. It's too fast. Been this fast? No, 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 never. It's never ever. Even when we were going through the oil crisis, even when we were going through the Iran-Contra, like I said, even when we're going through the wars, the Persian Gulf War.
Yeah.
Well, it was never this quick.
You know what's another crazy thing? You know how stock market's like 23,000 now? The thing is, like, we usually have this 7-year period of like a economic downfall. It just seemed like after Trump got elected, everything else, I think that was another Shemitah where things were supposed to go downfall, and where it just keep soaring up to the prosperous times and get these presidential.
Course,
I mean, everything is
like
totally out of the norm, you know? We're breaking all the.
And I think that is, and you're like me. That's why we're waiting for the bad. We're waiting for a war to happen. We're waiting for something to happen where the bubble can burst. Whether the stock market's too high, it's artificial. Whether there are going to be more hacks, whether it's going to be, whatever's going to happen, we're waiting for trouble because things are. You understand, our unemployment rate's the lowest it's been in years and years. Oh my God, years. You know this. You see it because you're out in it. You see it.
Yeah, I know.
Unless
you know,
unless people are drug addicts, people are generally optimistic, more upbeat. We just had Black Friday.
Yeah, they said
Cyber Monday, and it was great.
Yeah.
Right. Or it was. Excuse me. The last few years, it's been downward. It hasn't been good. This year, good. Everything is great because everybody's optimistic that things are getting better.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. As
You
long as
can't ask.
It's good.
You know, the Steelers keep winning. I'm just hoping. They did not look very good, but at least they won. And that's the only team. Believe me, I'm not a sports guy at all, but the Steelers, at least I watch.
Yeah.
I like. Do you like one team? You watch baseball? What do you watch?
Well, I like, as far as football, I do like Steelers. I always liked them from when I lived up Jersey like 30 years ago.
Right.
Miami, I'm like a little. I hate to say this, but I'm a LeBron James fan, and
what's wrong with that? That's okay.
When Miami Heat was winning it, I was all rooting for them. Now I'm rooting for the Cavaliers. You know.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, sure. Whatever it takes. And I actually picked up, believe it or not, because I'm from Pittsburgh, originally. And I actually found a book, book from whatever it was. It's like 1980 or whatever, talking about what it was after the World Series in 1960. And I'm telling my wife of it. Like, oh, I got this book, and like she cares. Nobody, only a Pittsburgher would care about a World Series from 1960. Nobody cares. Unless you're from Pittsburgh, nobody cares. But that's what you were raised with. I was raised with those stories. I was raised with that stuff.
Hey, I was reading Diana's and Dark Wolf's comment about the Mandela effects. They say I enjoy it too much, and I do, man. I look at, like back when I was woken up to the Mandela effects every morning or every evening, I turn on YouTube and see who was cranking out the newest change, man.
Well, of course. Well, the thing is that you go through lulls where there are no changes, and then you go through times where there's a bunch of changes.
Oh, well, now we get them all, but back then, in 2016, around September, October, it was starting to get, it was cooking. Then all of a sudden, it kind of stopped, and I was like, man, I felt like a drug addict because I was jonesing.
I ask you. I did not ask you. I did not ask you. What happened is a strange thing. Okay, this is a strange thing, Tom. This is strange. I was forwarded a video from Teresa. I went to the video. I actually followed the link.
Right.
The video, and it's from the guy that's in this trailer. The guy that's in this trailer.
Laszlo, right? The Laszlo effect or something. Okay.
He's interesting. You know what I mean? Because his face is this close to the screen. You know what I mean? At least he's interesting.
I love it.
Right, and I'm like, is there any way to send this guy money to get him out of his trailer? But you know what I mean? Because it's like he's in this trailer. Right. You know, he's surviving on ramen noodles and whatever he can get on FM radio. I don't know what's going on.
He's working it though, you know.
He's doing a pretty good job, but I like him. Okay, so he's doing it, and he mentioned something that made me stop and go, wait a second. And I went back to Teresa, and I got a hold of Brian, and I asked everybody. Okay, I know these are people that recently died. Hugh Hefner is dead. He recently died. Of course,
Yeah,
Playboy. You know, because you were flipping out about him, and Brian were flipping out about Hugh Hefner dying, correct?
well, he just kicked off. I wasn't really freaking out about it. I said, well, Uncle Hugh.
Brian was freaking out about it.
Oh, okay.
But Laszlo, and the name that he brought up was, of course, Stan Lee.
Okay.
And he said Stan Lee, of course, is 90-some years old, and he's still alive. And I checked the date. The date was the day that I was watching, and he made it like the day before. I wanted to ask you, do you recall Stan Lee being alive or dead?
Unless he was in a Schrodinger's cat's box, I don't know. He could be both states. I think he's alive. I mean, he was on oh, I don't know, it was The Big Bang or something or some movie, but he was just recently on something. So
That's right.
I think he's still alive and kicking.
Here's the problem. Here's Stan Lee, honest to God, Stan Lee died. Not only did Stan Lee die, but he died. I talked with everyone in the group. You, Brian, Teresa, everybody. Stan Lee died. It was a big deal. Stan Lee was dead. Talked about it. We reminisced. We all did, and now Stan Lee is alive.
Well, I never realized he was dead. You know?
No, he's not. Everyone says, and he's alive. He's not dead, but in my reality, it was dead. And my kids go, yeah, Stan Lee's dead. And I go, no, he's alive. He goes, we were just talking about Stan Lee being dead. He's alive. I said, and nobody believes me. I said, no one has the same memory, even the people in my groups. So that's why I was like, what's going on? I know that.
Hey, I'm reading the comments here. Diane was saying, not everybody. Why don't people see this? And then she said the theory we are divergent. What is divergent actually? I'm not sure. What's that word mean?
Well, divergent is basically different. She's saying, I'm believing that she's saying a different path, on a different trajectory, different path, divergent.
Oh, so it's like an alternate reality or something like that, right?
Saying something talking about something else.
But what about this?
Something.
You hear like how people say, like the Mandela effect, they remember things one way, and all of a sudden they get like almost like an update. And all of a sudden, Shammy, she was telling me she was remembering things both ways. Like they kind of remember it both ways, which is pretty wow.
It's unique. Shammy is unique. Yeah, Shammy is definitely unique because my son, one of my sons, I have 5 children.
Wow.
And the middle child is Michael. Michael is in the Army, and he comes back and he visits every so often. And he found out about the Mandela effect. And he came across, as we're talking, I had to take a long way to driving back to North Carolina one day.
Right.
North Carolina. He was going through in conversation in his memory, and he says, wait a second, he was talking about a particular object, whatever object it was. It was a toy, it was a jacket, and he said, I don't know. He goes, I remember this particular thing. And he goes, but that doesn't make any sense because that was already gone earlier. He goes, I'm remembering it. And he came out and said, I'm remembering it both ways. Yeah. And that was the first time that I heard it. And that's what Shammy's talking about. She's having conflicting memories, remembering things both ways, and she can't make sense of it. That's what he was, and that's the first time that I heard about it in action, conversation. He remembers things both ways. Isn't that the strangest thing?
But you know it's crazy. I mean, I remember some one way. Then they say, "Oh, there's a new Mandela effect." They showed to me. All of a sudden, like this only happened to me a couple times. All of a sudden, I started getting like now it's like hard to remember which one I remember. At first, I only remembered the one way, but then when they told me about the Mandela change, I see the change now. All of a sudden, I'm kind of remembering that almost the same way. It's like a download. And some people who are,
Talking
I think
about
they're
when you
blinded. I think the people who don't see it when they get the update, then they totally change. And I'll tell you one testimony. I was telling my friend about what's risky business with the sunglasses, and he remembered the movie.
yeah, Tom
Oh
Cruise.
yeah. He says, "Oh yeah, I remember Tom Cruise. He danced with the sunglass stuff." So then when I showed him the YouTube video of him, he goes, "Oh no, it was never like that. It was because it was on the cover of the tape. It was like a 180-degree change of a story, which like I was before I showed him the video, he was always like, "Yeah, he's got the sunglasses." As soon as I showed him the video without it, all of a sudden, it's like he got an update and never remembered the way he was saying.
Which is what is it? The Mr. Anderson effect or the Matrix
Yeah,
effect?
yeah. There you
The
go.
update.
I forgot about
That
that. Yeah, it's like an update.
that that
Totally changed.
that frustrates me because I can't have
Oh,
any normal conversations because they stop in mid sentence. They go, no, they free. They get that deer in the headlight look where they
yeah,
go, no, or they have the whole conversation with you. They believe the whole Mandela
right,
effect thing. They're like, oh, I can't believe it's crazy.
right.
Then they go, oh no, I want to Google everything's the way I said it was.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a total update overriding what their consciousness was remembering. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I think when you're truly awake to it, you know how you hear people like they've been awakened to the fact, and then somehow they go back to sleep. Who
How
was
is
telling
that
me that?
possible?
That people have had it happen. Oh, for example, our girlfriend Wendy Mitchell, Kat was saying that she woke up to the Mandela effect, and they were like, finding out together in the beginning. All of a sudden, I heard that Wendy's husband wasn't believing. Somehow, she flipped back and disregarded everything. Now she's become like the famous troll attacking Scarab and the whole gang.
Are you kidding?
But she was awakened to it. She believed it.
That's got to be pretty bad. You can't go one way and then flip back around to the other way.
That's what happens. I'm telling you, that's what happens.
That's like a Christian becoming an atheist. It
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
exactly. Well, believe it or not,
Except
you and me.
except to Solomon. Except to Solomon. Solomon would have done it. That's about it,
Well,
right?
no,
I think that's the only
no.
one.
To you and me, it seems like impossible to flip flop like that, but it happens. Like even with Christians becoming an atheist or whatever. I know some Christians were serving God, and all of a sudden they're totally hard for the world.
Well,
They say, "Oh, they're a
that
Christian."
happens a lot. That happens a lot,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but
But same thing with
because
the
they're
Mandela too. The Mandela community. I think the same thing happens, but I think it's that update that they get. It just overrides it.
I found the Ford logo today, the old one.
Oh yeah.
I found it today. Yes, I did, but I could not. I didn't buy it because they wanted $10 for it, and it was
Oh
on the hat. It was on the hat, and it was a newer hat with the old logo. You know how the new logo is all the F is all messed up,
yeah,
and,
yeah. It's got
and it
this.
was great, but for it, and I said, no,
Yeah.
I'd love to get it. Taking a picture of it, but I said, oh, for God's
Yeah,
sakes.
I'm reading what
Yeah,
Diana was saying about Wendy. Yeah, yeah, she had some strange stuff.
I'm not seeing the chat. I got the chat open, but I
Oh
don't
yeah,
see it.
yeah, no, it's not in the Google Hangout. It's in the YouTube page where I'm
You're
broadcasting live.
that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, if you look at that, you can read what they're saying.
What is it? The thing?
Yeah, you go to my page, Digital Scribe.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
type
you
in Digital
forgot.
Scribe.
So go over
Type on it.
here. I'm going
Those classic ones and
right
zeros
now
there.
because I'm subscribed to you.
Yeah, but here with American Pickers call the old logos on. Yeah,
Okay, we're a digital scribe. It's fine.
you see it? It's the one with the green ones and zeros.
But yeah, right.
I
Here it
love
is
that coin.
over the computer thing. There we are. Hold
Yeah,
on.
there you go. Yeah,
There you are. I got you down here. Let's see my subscriptions. Now, how often do I go to this page?
You see the chat board now?
We'll be in a minute. Oh, there. No, hold on. I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Diane, I agree with you. I have a low tolerance to strange doctrine as well.
Strange doctrine. No tolerance to strange doctrine.
Strange doctrine. Yeah.
I don't have anything on here except Brian's.
No, okay.
That's not.
You on
nothing.
my page.
I don't have any. I have nothing on here except Brian's. How do I?
Yeah.
Do
It's
that?
my channel. We're broadcasting on my channel.
I'm gonna find you. Digital Scribe.
Yeah, just type in digital scribe.
I found you, and it should be.
Click on, and then you click on it.
See your.
Is live.
There I am.
You see yourself now?
Yeah, I look terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I got this nice HD camera for the laptop. That works out really good. You plug it right in.
Hey, there's this guy that looks just like you. Oh wait, it is you.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, and there I am. Delayed. I know why I'm not on here. I know why I'm not on here because I'm under Sue. That's what it is. That's why I wasn't subscribed.
Oh, okay.
That does that make sense? But I found it just the same. Makes sense. No, that's good. Okay. So who else was on today besides Rena?
It was just when Melissa signed off. About a minute later, you came in, man. I mean, you literally came in at the right time as we were like stalling out.
Well, that's good. That's good. Any other? What about the Mandela Effect movie? And also any Mandela Effect books? Anything on that?
I heard about the movie. I don't know when it's going to be released, but it's almost going to be like calling Mandela Effect more like a psyop than anything else.
Well, I would have to work. A big movie about confabulation, which would be ridiculous.
You know what gets me? You know what gets me is all the evidence is out there. You go to newspapers.com. I mean, Moneybags did one on Little Tykes. Okay.
Right.
I mean, there's like thousands of ways it was spelled with the TYKES, and now it's TIKES.
He's the one that went to the patent office as well. He went to the patent office and pulled everything up to show that there was no patent for that there was no patents.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I believe he was the one. So you have the evidence.
Yeah, well,
you do have.
He always does great research, and that's why I love it. Like, for example, the Pikachu, the thing with the black tail. Now, I had no idea about Pikachu and never got into it, but because of all the residue and all the studies or whatever, they showed it, the residue. I mean, you can't argue with residue. You can't argue with the internet spelling it this way only. It's like people have to
I absolutely I have to agree. There's so much of it.
Yeah.
If it was just Photoshop, if it was something geared at one particular thing, one particular item, like if it was Jif. If it was Jif, or if it was Skippy, or if it was Peter Pan, it was just all peanut butter.
Yeah.
But it's everything. It's all different times, all different things.
It's like everything in life. Like South America. I used to talk on the ham radio years ago, and I remember South America being more underneath. But now it's like when I saw it, was way out there near Africa. It's like, whoa.
It's further. It's further out now. It's really further out now.
But this is why what I know for a fact. Back in 1992, when I was watching Hurricane Andrew coming to hit Florida, right? You could see they show the Caribbean stuff. And then when they start showing these hurricanes, I'm looking at, I go, no freaking way. It's like, South America and Central America so close to Florida.
No, because they would have been because when those hurricanes of time past would have slammed right into South America before they hit us, because they would have turned a certain way. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but
I have to agree.
I remember it just wasn't so cluttered right around Florida and Cuba, and everything was all there. It was like wide open. I mean, it was like tucked back under,
Right.
but I mean, just that,
I
just
don't
from a memory,
understand
you could
what it
tell.
is.
But people,
Now you
and
can
then
also see
North
the
Pole,
changes in
I think that
Australia.
the flipping North Pole always had ice up there. You know, they're always saying,
Right.
"Well, the North Pole melts, we'll all be like the coastlines will be underwater." Well,
Exactly.
freaking, it's all melted now, and we're still way above sea level. You know, New York City, Florida.
But
It's
you're referencing is the fact that people may know. They said if those polar ice caps in the North Pole, if they
yeah,
melt, if they beat
yeah,
this into our head 1,000 times. It
yeah.
was like a Black Sabbath song.
Exactly,
What will happen is New York Harbor will overflow, and New York City and Manhattan will be underwater
exactly. That's exactly right.
over and over again, like the
That was
Dewey Decimal System.
it's
We
like the
knew.
mantra. It was the mantra of the day.
It was so bad that when we were kids, we'd say our prayers like, "Please don't let New York City be
Please don't let the
on the
caps melt.
Right. It was so bad because you were certain of several things as a kid. What were you certain of? New York City was going to be flooded someday.
Yeah,
We're going to run out of fuel any day now. We're going to run out of gas. Any day
yeah, any
we'll
day.
run out of gasoline. So they said maybe this week, maybe next week, but sometime soon we're going to run out of gas. That's every day.
Yeah, we heard that since '73
Right?
when the first oil embargo. You know.
Exactly. Remember, and we have to conserve energy. Okay, we have to conserve energy. Remember when we all had to turn the lights out? Right?
Yeah.
Our parents were gonna kill us if we let their bedroom light on. They'd be
Oh
like, when
yeah,
you come home
and
from
don't forget
school.
President Nixon saying, "Turn your thermostats at 68 degrees."
And don't you remember when you left your light on when you were a kid? You left your light on in your room. You came home. Your parents were meeting at the door, all solemn, like you just went to Catholic school. They'd go for a moment. Please come in here. Please come
Yeah,
here.
you're
Please
gonna
tell
get
me
a
what that is. That's a
You
light
have left
switch.
the
It's a light
lights
switch.
on.
What is the light switch supposed to be? It's supposed to be off. I don't remember. Well, you're gonna have to remember. Let's come over here. You're gonna have to get beat now. You know what I mean?
I
Oh,
mean,
God.
then number
You know,
get your switch because you get your switch out because you forgot to throw the switch
right.
off. You
And
know.
when we were kids, when we went to school, next to every light switch in the public school, next to every light switch was, please remember to turn off light. Please remember. Oh my God! Every light switch
Oh
you
yeah.
looked at, a little sign. Please remember to turn off light. What's going on here? Now it's 2000. Was it 2017?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
house is on. Every light in the neighborhood's on. It's
Yeah.
like 30 years right later, and it doesn't matter anymore. No, it doesn't matter. You know, we must have found some more electricity laying around somewhere, like in a drawer.
Yeah.
See, we're okay for
Oh,
the
there
next
it
30
is.
years.
Oh, it's an abundance of electricity. We got no worries.
Sure, right.
You
I
know?
don't know what happened. I have no idea. Trump. It's got to be what happened. Trump got the electricity.
Yeah.
It's
Trump,
like
yeah, exactly. It was
it's
a
like
president.
it was like
Right,
a,
tweeted into existence.
right,
You know?
right. It was like Obama going, "What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Pick up the phone and create jobs? What's he going to do?" And what does Trump do?
Oh, he doesn't have
Creates
to pick up a
jobs.
phone. All he does is a presidential tweet, and there you go. Jobs created.
Jobs,
You know,
sure. Create some jobs. Sure. Crazy.
it gets me. You know, they say, "Oh, Mr. President, you shouldn't be tweeting that stuff." Well, now you got the first president tweeting, doing the presidential tweeting. You know, in fact, I
Right.
heard that
Exactly.
at the Twitter, some guy who was working the IT of the company somehow deleted his account for a day or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. And I'm sure he's doing well in his career now. I'm sure he is.
yeah.
I'm sure it's
Well,
done at this point.
you don't have a job. I guess you can get a job on the left side. You know.
Exactly. Right. You walk in like the champion, you know. But then, of course, you don't know what's happening. He's probably going to be sexually harassed.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So you don't know.
all these sexual harassment. I'm telling you, man. I feel like we're in a 3-ring circus, believe it or not. You know, like Barnum Bailey,
There's 4 or 5 rings. I think we're in Dante's.
Inferno.
Yeah, sure. This is it. You know. You know, I think someone said, you know what we're going to do? A few special people. What we're going to do? We're really going to mess with them. What we're going to do? We're going to bear with me. We're going to change some things. We're not going to tell anybody, and only they will know. And then we'll just record it from there. Put it on YouTube anyways. We'll just record it for Spotsberry. That's what they're going to do, right? And that's what happened. Now, who's the lady? Now, remember Fiona Broome, right? You
Oh
remember
yeah,
her?
yeah.
A counterpart, which has been around for she's not a counterpart, but she's has the same type of as Broome does because she's been following the Mandela effect for years and years and years. I can't think of her name, and she was on. Do you remember? Were you
Oh,
there?
Susan Larson.
Yes, Susan Larson.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
she
actually
was on.
I was on that, and I was actually asking a few things. That was awesome.
And how was that? I mean, she seemed to be pretty right on. I was
She,
surprised. I really
she's
was.
yeah, she's like me. She loves to pull in the quantum mechanics physics towards it,
And
and
I was surprised that she did that because a lot of people don't.
no, I mean, you got to admit, I mean, quantum mechanics back before the Mandela effect was like the world of the crazy, spooky, and strange. But since we had the Mandela effect, we are aware of it. Now, quantum mechanics makes as much sense as classical physics, just like the old Einstein theory of relativity. Like, it's funny in the physics world, both those schools, the relativity and quantum mechanics, they were almost like at odds. But then with the Mandela
Right.
effect, it's like a unification of all this stuff. It really
Because
is.
it's a practical application of it.
Practical application, like in that movie, when that time
Right.
traveler goes time travel. Uh
What is it? What's the movie?
fantasy or what was it when they did the time machine, that the newer one in 2002, and they had that guy who was like a vault, like that composite AI in that library. Time travel, you know. And then the guy was saying,
There's
no,
some.
practical application. You saw that one where they go in the forward and with more locks. It was a remake of the old one.
Yes, the Time Machine. The Time
Yeah,
Machine. H.G. Wells. It's the
yeah,
Time Machine remake. Yes,
yeah. The
yes. When you said
remake.
Morlocks, then I got it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
now there's so many Time Machine ones now. So much time.
yeah.
What is your take on time travel? Do you think the time travel is possible that we've been using it now, or they're not telling us? What's your take?
Well, I think it's possible. The thing is, the way I view time is like there's this video. It's called what reality is by the quantum gravity research. It's that girl with that little light ball. She does an They have 7 clues of what reality is. They talk about information, uh, causality loops, which is time where the future affects the past, which is the Mandela effect, and the past affects the future. They talk about
Right.
non-determinism, which is free will, free choice. Talk about consciousness. All these
Mm-hmm.
things affect reality. And then they
Mm-hmm.
talk about the golden ratio, which is in everything. The golden ratio is not only in quantum mechanics with the formulas for the black holes and all that, but it's in all creation. So that's what's common to everything. And
The
then
golden ratio being what? Past, present, future.
no, golden ratio is just a measurement of 1 to 0.618. Everything, the length of your body, the human arm, your navel to the bottom of your feet, to the top of your head, it's all that divine proportion. Everything is built to that looks aesthetically pleasing. It's in like the hurricanes, it's in spiral galaxy, it's even in the spiral of conch shell. All those have that golden ratio in all those. It's in everything.
Yes, I do understand what you mean by the golden ratio, but
Yeah.
the
And it's in everything. So that's another formula because when they use this E8 lattice, it's a 8-dimensional layout how the universe is, but you can't really perceive it. So they break it down mathematically to like a 4D quasi crystal, and they break it down to a 3D. They use a lot of math and stuff, and that's how you kind of prove things. Things you can't perceive with your senses, you could prove it mathematically. That's how come Einstein came up with the theory of relativity. He couldn't prove it, but then down the road they were able to prove it. Something that he just thought up because of math. Same thing with
what's
trajectory with calculus with what's his name back hundreds of years ago.
it's a Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, that's it. That's a part of that golden ratio exactly.
It's a Fibonacci sequence, and what it is it's broken when you break things down to the not the simplest point, but it's
Yeah,
in mathematics two quantities are, and then the Gaussian or golden ratio If the ratio is the sum to the larger of the two quantities, the
Right.
figure on the right. Okay, so how they express it. If that makes sense.
It's a ratio of 1 to 0.61803, and it's got like a long, but it's essentially
It is
0.618.
one. It is one. It is, see here. It is actually 1.1618033988749,
Yeah,
etc. But it's
yeah.
point. Oh,
But
it's
like for
one.
example, like you see my arm here. If you
Mhm.
measure from here to the tip, you measure it here to here, you're going to find that same ratio. And then if you measure from here to here, then here to here, you'll find a ratio. And from here to here to here to here, you'll find a ratio all throughout your limbs, your body. And the people
Only in
who look
relation,
beautiful,
but only in relation to yourself.
no,
You can only,
to a normal human being. Well, this is to yourself, yeah, but
yeah, to yourself.
that number is with throughout the human body, your facial. The reason why people look handsome or beautiful, like George Clooney, because their eyes, their nose, their ears are all proportioned to that divine proportion. And like when they
Let's
built
say I
websites
understand.
or art, like the Mona Lisa, they said that was
Right.
built to that. The Last Supper picture that would had a lot of the same thing. The Parthenon, you know.
So Da Vinci
The,
would be the same way.
yeah, he used that
But
golden ratio for all of his artwork. So like you can aesthetically see it looks beautiful when it's built to those proportions. That's just the way
or
it
we
is.
surmise it to be beautiful because of the
We
ratio.
perceive it to be beautiful because it lines up to the golden ratio. It's all
I so
mathematical.
so so I have a question for you about
Yeah.
time
Oh
travel.
yeah.
I was thinking about time travel in ESP. Right? I guess it would be ESP, which would be extrasensory phenomena, would be seeing into the future. I was thinking in time past of time being linear,
Well, yeah,
meaning that
but
it was
it's
just
not. You
sequential.
know what? You know what time is. This is the concept you have to understand. All time exists all the time. The past, the ever
Yes, but
present
this is
now,
what I
and
was
the
thinking. I was
future.
thinking
It's existing.
in the 10 years ago, 15 years ago. This is what I thought.
Right.
Time was linear.
Yeah, me too.
I said time can't be linear. Time can't be linear because of ESP. If you had a feeling, a thought, a notion, something happened. Somebody was playing on the radio, something. I said, what? Or something bad was going to happen, or something good was going to happen.
You know it
Uh,
before it
I
happened.
said, how in the world would you know that? If time is linear, something that it was, of course, today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. Okay, when we wake up, it will be Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be Thursday. We know that tomorrow's not going to be Friday. We know that tomorrow's going to be Thursday because it naturally follows. But
Right.
when you still know it, and you still know it, time cannot be linear. But if it is linear, it would mean that in relation to the surface at the top, maybe you can see like a vibration, like you're picking it up. Something happened. Someone select your long distance right now from home, at home or something. So you pick up the phone and you tell, "Are you okay?" Well, I wasn't feeling too well. But, I was just thinking you weren't feeling too well. Okay, and I thought maybe that the vibrational inferences or the and time of things to come would have some play on things. I was using that as a thought. Perhaps one of the reasons why the vibrational frequencies, why you pick up on the Mandela effect, why you see the changes, and other people turn into like
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
That the
Exactly.
major. Some people they don't change, or they just revert back
Right.
to whatever the accepted norm is. Letter A, the letter A, the letter A, and then it's all of a sudden one day letter B, and your friend goes, "It's always been letter B." Like, look, man, it's
Right.
been the letter A for the last 20 years. And you're like, no, it's always been letter B. You're not going to be talked out of it, even though It's been letter A. So it's got to be some reason. Got to be some reason for it, and I don't know what that reason is. And I
Well, how
think the
about
reason
this? Go ahead.
I'm thinking that it has to do. Sorry to say, because it's not stuck up or anything. It doesn't mean anything to me, but it's got to be the differences. There has to be some reason why. Got to be some reason why Rena can see it. It's got to be another reason why Brian can see it. Same reason. And some people think like, what was that woman's name we were just talking
Oh yeah, Sue
about?
Larson.
Larson she believes that it's a certain attainment, certain enlightenment that people have achieved. That's
Well,
what she believes.
well, the thing is like the way the reality works is through the observation effect. If you don't believe it, you don't think it really exists, then you won't see it. Kind of shut yourself out
Well,
because you're closed.
yeah, but that's like Norman Vincent Peale. That's like the power of positive thinking.
Well,
It
see,
is doesn't mean that it is.
yeah, I know, but I know I hate that word, power, mind control, or power
Well,
positive.
I'm just saying,
There's a lot to
if my wife is cheating on me, let's say my wife
right,
is cheating on me. Oh my gosh, I hear noise in the other room, and I go, oh my
right.
god, you know
But you
what?
don't
Oh, you
believe
know what? It's not true. It's not true. It's not, and I'm not going to change it. Or if it's snowing outside, I go, oh god, I hate snow. Let me sunny, and then it's sunny day. It's not going to happen like that.
well, this is
And I,
how it works. I realize there's two types of things. First, it has to work internally. In other words, if you don't pay attention to your five senses, and you could create your own reality in your own mind, your perception of reality is your own reality. Whether whatever's happening, like your wife was making all kinds of noises in the bed. If you don't believe that, you think it's the creaking boards from the running water, then you believe that, then that's going to be your reality. And but then you have another whole set of reality is the confirmation of the physical world confirming like, yeah, I see it, your brother sees or whoever, and they confirm, yeah,
so
this
my question would then be quite simple.
what's
Advent
that?
of, or with the advent of residuals,
Right.
advent of residuals, could we not, using what you just said, using the criteria of what you just said,
Right.
the believers, let's call them Mandela effect people that see the Mandela effect, let's call them the believers, okay?
Okay.
Be solely responsible
For the shiftings.
for the residuals, meaning that the shifts occur, but yet we're holding the residuals. We're bringing them into existence. We're holding them in line for us
Yeah,
because
but
we're bringing them into existence. We're
yeah,
not
but
shifting.
no,
We're
no.
still we're
But the people who wrote the residual, like newspapers.com, all those people make those articles the way it used to be. It's
yeah.
their consciousness that shields it. Now, they could be people, it could be potential candidates to be enlightened. But the ones who are enlightened like us, I mean, really enlightened that we see it, we see them easily, you know, and we're kind of like preserving the way the things were. Because if we get,
When I would write on the blog, what you want to call them, blogs or
yeah,
the rooms, what do you call those things? On
blog,
Facebook,
video, oh,
the sites where you type in whatever they're called,
yeah, yeah,
the different chat rooms.
yeah,
I go in there and I oftentimes I say the problem with Mandela, it's not the fact that it's not the problem. The problem is that I can't. I mean, every time I see The Empire Strikes Back, it's wrong. It's rubber. Forrest Gump is always wrong. If you build
yeah,
it, he will come. It's always going to be right. It's never going to be right. It's always
right,
going to be wrong. There's no
no,
way not to see that.
yeah, exactly.
And that with a myriad of other changes, 100 different other changes, 1,000 different other changes. South America is always going to be too far east. There's nothing I
Yeah,
can do about it. I wish
yeah,
I could move
exactly.
it back too
But
far east.
that's what it
Uh,
is.
King Tut's
Yeah,
headdress with
yeah, exactly.
that's never been like that.
and there's a snake in my
Yes.
boots.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I can't. You can't. What are you going to do with that?
I know you,
So
you
the
just
problem.
yeah. I mean, it sticks out like sore thumb. When I'm driving on
I,
the road, I'm constantly looking around, looking at all the billboards or signs, store logos, and looking for the newest changes. I mean, and
right.
you're
What
gonna
do
see
you
it.
and what do you think in your mind these changes mean? I mean, I can't believe there's somebody there just poking pinholes into something. Yeah, I can't believe that. It's got to be some rationale, maybe some reason why this is happening. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, thing is, there's a couple of things where CERN, Lucifer, quantum computers. My newest thing is actually there may be some people on the planet that have some kind of such enlightening whatever that they can actually make these things change by meditating on or something. That's just a theory I'm throwing
You
out
were
there.
Renee originally, were you not? When Renee had that phone call, was that you or was that Brian?
Oh no, that was Brian with the thing speaking or something like that.
Was that Brian?
Yeah, it was Brian and Rena. Yeah,
Not make it through the video to watch the video, obviously. Could
yeah,
not make it through the video.
but
Well, was something actually talking? Was
yeah,
something
that's
actually
that's what I think they said. Yeah, it was
were
actually
were they
talking.
talking about
On
the
experience.
changes in the Mandela effect? Changes?
I don't know what they were talking about, but
Okay.
like whatever it is, it's like everything. See, that's what I'm saying. Like when you talk about the supernatural realm, is that really supernatural realm? Because we're assuming that the difference between a natural realm and supernatural is a natural realm is stuff that you could change, obviously. But the supernatural is something that goes beyond the laws of physics and it just changes. Well, all these quantum effects, quote, are supernatural, but are they supernatural? They're just an extension of the natural realm. You see what I'm saying? So then, if you go on that line of thought, then is anything really real? What's proven is everything's information. Everything, they say it's a virtual reality or something. It's real, of course, but then again,
Well,
it could
now
be
see, but
changed
that's
at the drop of a
you
hat.
see,
So now we're getting into the point of
what's that? That's a
metaphysics,
yeah, but
faith
that's a
healing.
slippery slope.
What? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
slippery slope.
very yeah, I know. See, now that's where I'm trying to press into. I'm not really concerned about who or what's causing the effects. I'm trying to figure out, you know, where thing is. Where is it? Power of positive thinking, the placebo effect, faith, what Jesus said, controlling storms, um, you know, supernatural things. The Iceman, he could sit in water for 2.5 hours. It's solid ice, never suffer hypothermia. He can go climb Mount Everest, come back down in his shorts, never freeze to death. Meanwhile, these people are like, that's gone beyond the physical limits of reality. And he's controlled it by meditating. He's teaching people how to do this. Now, this is called mind over matter, but it's a faith-based reality. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of having the same threading. It's crazy. They
I
think
do understand. I do understand what you're saying.
you would be considered a nutcase if you had no proof, no evidence. But the reason why Jesus uh, had so much, you know, authority or validity because he proved it with the demonstration of the power of God with miracle signs and wonders. He proved he goes, which is easier to say to pick up thy couch or that your sins are forgiven. But he said, so you'll know that the Son of Man has authority to forgive sin. Take up, start walking. So
If they bet.
so think about
Yeah. The
think about what
I am.
Jesus did. He walked
Yes,
on
but
water, controlled storms, raised the dead, healed the sick, and then the Bible says they could, and of course manifested food for 5,000 people. Everything.
I
So
understand that. But that's all those things. All those things are great, of course. But all those things have different reasons. In my mind, in my opinion, was for the Jews to see Messiah, so they could believe on
but
him.
yeah, I understand. I'm not so much talking about the
But
reason to Why or
The slippery slip that I was talking about is twofold. One thing is this, okay? When you're talking about the matrix effect, is what you were talking about, okay? Which you question reality of what is real,
yeah,
meaning pressing the boundaries of what we are. This is where people go. This is where friend Sue Lawson was talking about it. This is where go on this thing. Another one, I can't remember his name. He's way out there and stuff. But the idea is that what happens is that you got two different things in a nutshell. One of them go into this reality is a virtual reality. This is nothing is real. Nothing you or I are real. We're just manifestations of consciousness, and we just perceive each other.
right.
Further on from that, it's that we are not even real. Life isn't real. This is an illusion. That's what they get to. Death is an illusion. These are not true. Death is real. Death is real because people die. Problem is that now we've seen people that were dead, now they're alive. And our problem with that is that do we know anybody that was now dead? No, it doesn't work in reverse. Very strange. We haven't seen any of that yet. That are now dead. It doesn't work in reverse. Like when we go back, you remember. I can't give you an example. Anybody who's alive, like you would say, I have no idea. As you know, it's been alive, and you find out that Tom Cruise died in 1990. It hasn't happened.
Well, Brian had this lady on his show a couple weeks ago. She said she had her own death certificate, and she that people said around her, "Oh,
Right.
we thought you died years ago and stuff," but she never
That's
experienced
right.
being
No,
dead at
I'm
all.
alive.
But
Right.
she's alive. In fact, she goes to DMV. She can't find any record of her existence. She
This
has a
would go
death
back to
certificate.
what I was saying before. Is that again? It's us. So important. Maybe it's us because we're seeing it. We're telling them. If that lady's telling them, "Hey, I'm alive. Look at my birth certificate." She's telling them. Okay. I'm sure came across people in your past right now in your life in the last year, since 2016, fall of 2016, where you have tripped upon people. I don't want to say you tripped upon people. I'm going to say people tripped upon you,
Right.
where they go and they change their stories. They stopped in mid sentence. They blacked out type thing. And just did the regular discussion. Maybe we're the ones. Maybe we're the X factor. Maybe we're the one. I'm not saying we're the ones causing it, but maybe we're the ones. Maybe we're the from the Matrix movies. Maybe we'd be one of those people where we'd be one of the keys. We'd be one of the keys where they
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I really think that we may be a catalyst or
Yeah.
maybe accelerating an effect because there's more people waking up to this effect, and therefore the effects are accelerating. It's becoming
Right.
more accelerated, and we're kind of at it because it kind of makes sense.
Personally,
What
how
they were saying.
is your personal? Are things working out, or are things just deteriorating? What's happening?
Well, what's that? My personal life?
Yeah, everything going. I mean, because that's
Everything's
things.
getting better. Seriously, everything's been really getting better. I mean, I wrote myself a check for $500,000. I carry that around, because I seen some people do it. I said, why not? I mean,
Sure, might as well. Why
know,
limit it to 500,000? Why didn't it was it bigger than this?
no,
You write big.
I get to
You write big. I
500,000.
understand. Just big.
I get to 500,000. Now I'm going to write the check for 50 million. We
Okay,
got to
there
do
you
it
go. There you
progressive
go.
steps. You don't go from a seed.
Musk? Is it Elon? Is it Elon Musk? Is that the guy? Is it Musk? Who's the guy that runs Amazon? Bezos.
I think Musk or whatever, but
Bezos. It's Bezos. It's Amazon.
oh, okay.
100 billion now. That's a lot of zeros.
But but like getting to the slippery slope, I'm just finding that everything is winding up to that. I mean,
Well, on the other end of what you're saying, the beneficial, I want to say is the flat earthers.
oh yeah,
The flat earthers. I'm 100. I am an earther, but The flat earthers are around now. They were not around 10 years ago. You know it. You could walk through a city all day when you meet a flat earther. You know that.
Right.
You wouldn't meet them at all. You
But
wouldn't meet any of
now it's very prevalent.
now very prevalent. And you certainly geocentric people, which believe that the Earth is the center of the galaxy.
Right.
Well, those were even harder to find because they don't even know what that is. They go, "Oh, geocentricity, what's that?" And they, and now those people are prevalent too. You've seen them around.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Oh,
wild,
see,
man.
that's right. But where are all of the environmentalists?
Yeah, they all
Every day.
Woodwork. They're gone.
What happened to them? They have to. What did they do? Morph into hippies? What happened?
I know they got
The
like
hippies
wrapped
going.
up or something, man. You know, it was
I
like,
don't know what happened. Yeah, because those were the most annoying. Remember this conversation? Is that a styrofoam cup? Why, yes, it is a styrofoam cup. You know how many people you're killing with that styrofoam cup?
oh, how about the ozone?
The ozone layer, oh
And
my God, the acid rain. Oh my, and every day we'd go through it. You're killing with it. And then, of course, if you change your kids' diapers, that's going to sit in a landfill for the next 50 years.
Yeah, they'll stay there for thousands of years.
Of diaper, right? Conversations that you have with some idiot, some you about how you're killing everybody with your.
But now it's nice and quiet. We don't have that anymore.
No, it's nice and quiet. You just have to deal with some guy with a little comic book going. Didn't you know? Oh, okay, sure, I'll listen to this. It's much better than being told about my styrofoam cup. Thank you.
But now, you know, it's gonna be. I bet you in about a year or two, there'll be something else popping up that it'll be the big.
Well,
you know?
The problem is that I see is that there definitely is the problems if it like the flat earthers. Some things that they're talking about where you go, well, yeah, because that's not right. There are some things in space that aren't right. I see it.
How about
there are some things that
I seen.
Yeah, what's going on with the sun? What's going on with the sun? What's going on with the flashes? What are those loud boom noises that just come out of nowhere?
I know, man. It's like, oh, what the heck? I mean,
years ago, if we would have seen, remember when we were kids, you looked up at the sky, you saw a shooting star. My God, you talk about it the next 3 days.
Yeah, now it's like,
shooting star. No, it's like, wait a second, where's my phone? Wait. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, yeah. Now you can't keep anyone's attention for 5 minutes because it's all got to do with your telephone.
Yeah, the whole human race has ADD now. You know.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm like, what's my superpower? Oh, my superpower. I have an attention span longer than 35 seconds. And that's my superpower.
Yeah, you got total concentration now. 35 seconds worth. You know.
Right. What's that? Oh, what's that? It's a book. What's that? Oh, it's a book. It has pages, man. Pages. Have you ever seen one of these things before? Oh no, I've never seen that. It's called a book. Ooh. Ooh, does it, what is it? What does it do?
Told me about them things.
What does it do? It sits on the shelf like this until you pick it up and read it. That's what. Anyways, it's absolutely crazy. So many people. I was watching. Have you seen that show?
Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane.
It's not Brian. It's Seth. The guy who does Family Guy. The guy who does American Dad. Star Trek type show called. It's not Galaxy Quest, but it's something like that. And I can't tell you what it is. I gotta look it up. Let me tell you exactly what it is. I'm over here.
While you're looking at that, I was reading Diane's comment about the flashing got me back on investigating the FE. I agree with you, Diane. When I saw that flashing sun, go, man. I mean, if anything was going to give me a little bit of validity for the flat earther, it'd be the flashing sun. I mean, that actually had me almost thinking flat Earth, man. That really was crazy.
What's with the flashing? The flashing is what I heard is just flashing. The sun is flashing.
The flat earthers saying the freaking bulb that lights the sun is like wigging out. It's about ready to crap out. You know how your bulbs start flickering before they go dead.
Yeah, call the maintenance guy. I'll do it.
Guys, throw another 50 trillion watt bulb, man. This
I
one's about ready
I
to
have
crap
seen
out. You know?
sunsets that don't look right. There's no way that these can be photoshopped. I've seen sunsets that don't look right. I have seen the two suns in the sky. I have seen personally, I've seen.
Yeah.
I was at Walmart. I think I told you this. I came out of Walmart. I looked up. I saw the sun. I said it was in the wrong place. It's so bad. I got to back up to tell you. I'm at Walmart.
Right.
Walmart. What happened was the power at the Walmart that I was in went out. We're looking, because Walmart goes dark, goes very dark with no lights on. Come on, and everyone's just standing there. And I'm thinking, nice enough because people aren't looting immediately because they could have just walked out the store. You understand? The lights, and as soon as just before the light came on, I looked outside.
Right.
That's an awfully odd call. It looks awfully weird, but I wasn't going to make anything of it because I'm at Walmart. I'm not going to freak out. I'm with my wife,
Yeah.
right? I noticed, but I walked out. The lights did come back on. And checked out. We only got a couple things.
Right.
And I noticed immediately there's the sun, and I pointed to my wife. I said, "What's that?" She goes, "What?" I said, "It's the sun." She goes, "Yeah." How was that? Over here.
Oh, you saw like another
And she
sun.
goes, "Well, four. All directions had four suns.
Wow.
Balls. You understand?
Man.
It was four suns." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Please, let's just, we got to get home." I said, "What do you mean?"
What do you mean?
Let's start that.
One of the greatest shows on earth.
You got to get home. What are you talking
You're
about?
gonna walk out on the three-ring circus? I don't
Right.
think
So
so.
I simply got into the truck at that point.
They gotta fire up those 20 trillion watt backup bulbs, making sure they're all working. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine yourself looking up at the sky, going, "That's one."
Uno, dos.
They're bright. They're bright as anything.
Yeah.
They're all four directions, and I couldn't make any sense of it. And I've kept as we're going home. I'm looking.
Drive the sundials crazy. Oh, what time is it? Oh, hell, I got four shadows here. Who knows? You know.
So when I got home, I looked later. I didn't look again. And I look up the sky, and I know where the sun sets. I know where the sun is, and I called up my youngest son. He's 16. Guess what? I said, "Come here. Look at that." He goes, "What's that?" I said, "He goes, it's the sun." And I said, "What's that?" And I pointed in the other direction. "What is that?" "What is that?" And I said, "I don't know what that is." I said, if that's the sun, because they both look exactly the same. They're in opposite directions from each other. And I said, "That doesn't make any sense." He goes, "No, that doesn't make sense." And I said, "You said it, not me. You said it." And that was it. So I stopped doing it at that point.
Yeah, that's true too. We see a lot of strange things like you're talking about the sun and God knows what. I mean,
I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, think about it when you're a kid. 12, 13, 14, 15, and you walk out of a concert going,
it's just a normal day.
Two suns?
One sun, one earth.
Yeah, easy. Look at the moon. There it is. Yeah.
But I didn't even get into the manned animals, man. I mean, dear God, it's like a festive affair with those things.
Yeah. The animals are just,
they're just like
that. Hey, wanted to ask you, what are those stupid animals they had the cartoon about? Oh God, I can't think of it.
You talking about the unicorn?
The unicorn. What are they called? Something. They were proof positive for the Mandela effect, but I could not think of what.
The ones with the 6 foot wings.
No. They're the unicorn. They're unicorn ones, but what are they called? They're called something.
Oh God, I don't know what.
There was a kids show. There was a kids show on TV that because two of my kids don't see the Mandela effect at all. Okay, Ryan does not see the Mandela effect at all, but Matthew does, and my daughter Harley doesn't see the Mandela effect at all, and my son does, Michael. So go back, and the ones that don't see the Mandela effect swear that, of course, they've always had those unicorn
Sure.
sea animals, whatever they're called, narwhals. Narwhals.
Well, yeah.
Narwhals. And she goes, narwhals, no. And she goes, there's a whole show. And the kids who never saw them, and the kids who see the Mandela effect goes, I've never seen that show before in my life. They got two of the kids from the same family. One of them said, oh, yeah, we watched that when we were little. The other one going, I've never seen it before in my life.
Yeah.
Same family.
It's a new reality.
So
Yeah, it's a reality thing, you know? That's what I'm saying. Our little video games. That's proof positive.
You're South America. Do you know anything about what's called the Southern Ocean?
No, I didn't hear about that.
It's there. It's the Southern Ocean. It's there. It's on the map. It's called the Southern Ocean.
Right.
And it is part of you have the Atlantic and the Pacific. Below the Pacific is called the Southern Ocean. No, it's not. And they said, yes. My kids, again, same thing, just like the narwhals. The ones that know about the narwhals.
Yeah.
So that we learned about that in school. The other ones are like, no, there's no Southern.
That's
funny. I know, just crazy. And I would
conflicted. I mean, the classic example, like Teresa and Brian remember she's building a stairway to heaven. Me and Rena remember she's buying a stairway to heaven. She's buying. Yeah, she's not building anything. She's buying. See, Brian, of course, rips out the residue, saying, "Yeah, she's building it." So, you got the residue, buddy. It must have been existed that way too, So it's like we probably.
Well, that's the point because we find residual. It's not Jif. What is it? What do you guys? Jiffy? Is it Jiffy?
Yeah, Jiffy. Yeah, Jif became.
Okay. I have no memory of Jiffy at all. None. Just like I have no memory of Mandela dying in prison.
Yeah, I think I remember Jiffy. Yeah,
but
the thing is, I don't. There's so much residue for Jiffy. It's just insane. And like I talked to so many people.
That's the thing.
Oh yeah, I remember Jiffy peanut butter. Sure,
Now, do you know a gentleman by the name of blah blah blah? Josh? What's his name? Josh?
He talking about Life Matrix?
I know what his name is. His name is Josh. He's a friend. Groups. I put him in the groups. Everybody. For anybody who's listening. His name is Josh something, and I can't find it.
Diane was saying something about the rainbow marijuana. Rainbow turkey.
His name is
Josh. I never heard about rainbow turkeys.
What John? Rainbow marijuana? What's going on? Rainbow marijuana?
I don't know. Diane was like, put some and rainbow marijuana. Wow. I know about rainbow tree.
Unsub from her. American Pickers. Blah 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 blah. Dark Bulls. My first I made was the Bears. Here.
But come to the conclusion of it all. I mean, there's nothing that has been changed. I mean, everything's changed, man. It's ridiculous. Oh, even how about technology?
Of course.
It's like things been invented earlier in time, like pictures and cell phones or.
You were talking about when you were saying causality effect.
Yeah.
The causality effect. I was going. That's what I talked to you about. Sue Loden, Sue, whatever her name is. Brought it up to her, and I said the effect. I said the cause and effect, and I brought up. I said, "What about the effect and the cause?"
Yeah.
And she went down a different route of that because she just didn't know. Was answering another question. Cell phones, the TVs, the radios, the phonographs. Advanced than I ever remembered them to be. The car phones. I mean, so. That would be our residuals, and the proofs, the residual proofs, are showing that we have technology beyond our years. In a case why we have more technology now, you see technology coming out at a frightening rate. But you remember, when you were a kid, you were like, "This is a cool invention. What do they call this? They call this a yo-yo. Look at this. It's on a piece of string. Look at this. This is great."
How about a little FM radio or Walkman with
right, and we had the. And we
but it's almost like like the future is creating the past as far as like the farther we get ahead in technology now, the farther we get
Yeah,
ahead in technology in the past.
so
That's
your
that
big thing has got to
feedback
be,
loop.
and your big thing that keeps you awake at night has got to be the AIs.
No, the AI is just a product of technology. I mean, I am. I mean, it's kind of twisted, but I am looking forward to the full manifestation of AI. I like to see the open source script of the AI program working on a quantum computer based mainframe. That would be some pretty phenomenal intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Can't to see wait to see that in action.
I'm just looking for a.
Just don't plug that into anything that has
I
control over Earth.
I don't know what we would. You saw the Bicentennial Man, of course,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. With Robin Williams, that was pretty
and
wild.
yes, of course, and you saw
The one where they're destroying robots, like use them. What was that? Oh, that's
what
right.
was that
The
robot
yeah,
with Will Smith.
what was that? AI. The movie called it was just called AI with that kid David. I'm
That's
David,
right,
right?
right. But it was the iRobot was Will
Oh yeah, that
Smith.
one the
The
Sunny.
three
Yeah,
laws. The three laws, right? Sonny.
the three laws. But
I
the
was
other
talking.
movie with AI with that little kid where they made him a little
But
robot
what I'm
and then
worried, yes,
yeah,
what I'm worried about though is not the AIs. I'm worried about when I was talking with Josh Speed about this. He was describing something. The intelligence is so great. You remember Big Blue, IBM, chess, the Jeopardy, and all that, and then they won on Jeopardy, and Big Blue won. Remember?
right.
They actually won. He won. He beat Ken Jennings, that wizard. He beat all the champions. He was very questioned. And now that technology has advanced to such a point now, the AIs are really becoming threatening. Okay. The problem is that Josh was talking about a scenario where a detriment to the AIs, and the AIs will try to exterminate us. This is what he was referring to. I said to Josh as I'm typing to him, I said, I think what you're talking about is Skynet, right? Skynet?
Yeah.
Just say Skynet, and then I'll understand. He goes, yeah, Skynet, right, exactly, like Skynet. And I said, man, I saw that movie. So now basically what you're waiting for is you're going, oh, it sounds kind of crazy. I mean, not to sound morbid, but I'd love to see the AI. And what you're asking for is basically Terminators.
No, no, I don't want to see him
See,
terminate
Terminators.
the race.
But
I mean,
that's what they are, Terminators.
yeah, but we don't want them to terminate. Maybe they'll just be like, I don't know. But this is another thing I'm telling about consciousness. Well, if an AI machine becomes self-aware, then wouldn't that
Right?
contribute to the pollution of manipulating reality? And since they're so much more advanced and quicker, maybe they'll
Well, if they did,
actually.
I'm sure Nancy Pelosi would be the first one to welcome into into the fold and try to sign him up to the Democratic Party. I'm sure she'd
Yeah,
do it.
launch them
Yeah.
out. Yeah, get them little
No,
drones
I
flying
mean,
around like a
I'm
go sick 'em, boy.
sure. Yeah, be like, yeah, you can vote. You
Land
don't
on
need
the
AI. You
floor
can
and
vote.
ping.
But anyways, the point being is that I am very much concerned at the rate that this technology is expanding.
Yeah, it's.
To be
But once they get the quantum
what?
computers integrated with artificial intelligence, it's going to be an overnight, instant, ultimate
Well, that's
intelligence.
what people. Isn't that what people were alluding to now? The reason why
Yeah,
things are. They were calling it Google and they were calling it AI and they were calling it bots. Weren't that? Isn't that what they're alluding to now? Is that we know? Like I said, you have to feel the same way. Or I should
I
say
think
that a
I
lot of
think
people.
the internet itself. I know for a fact that Google, or whatever the backbone of the internet, it's interfaced with some kind of artificial intelligent quantum computer that it's out there on Cyberland. Yeah,
Think
and
it's taking it. So you think it's taking in everything that we're doing, everything that we're saying, and
oh,
modulating it reality based on what we're saying.
yeah, it knows all that, but I think somehow it gathers all information. I mean, them quantum computers can hack into anything, banking or whatever, and it could actually change information or
Well, good.
I
Well, if
don't
it wants
know.
to give us money, if it wants to give us money, you want that 500,000. Maybe you can bring that into existence. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
all it has to do is just create money in an electronic bank account, and just like next thing you know, you
Sure.
got a few extra zeros behind your cash that's in your account.
That's
But
nice,
you know,
right? Sure. Yeah, I understand.
but the
I'll put it there. I'll be happy to do the math.
oh yeah, I'll draw it out as quick
Yeah,
as
I can do the
possible,
math.
you know. But
Sure. Yeah, I will draw it out as soon as possible. That's exactly what I'm going
yeah,
to do.
before it gets deleted, you know, we don't want to delete that.
Sure.
But
Let's be not to be. I don't mean to be. But how much stuff from Walmart do I need?
well,
What I
yeah,
mean? I don't. We barely. How many shirts can you own from Walmart? You seem to fall wear the Walmart stuff.
I rather just have a gold lace shirt, gold toilets, gold faucets,
Yeah,
gold.
but that's not be Donald. That's not be Donald Trump. Right?
Well, okay, I'll go
He's got
plat.
gold. Yeah.
Have a
Did you see?
platinum
Did you see in
toilet.
this office that he was in? Not for nothing, but he was in this office. Okay,
Right,
signing some document, doing whatever, and they were
right.
panned up from where it was, and it looked like. Well, it really did. Okay, it
Oh
was like,
yeah,
where the heck is this guy? You know what I mean? Where is he? Because this
well,
is solid gold ceiling.
well, yeah.
Why do you need a solid gold ceiling?
Well, you know what's
But
so funny about Trump? You know, every person that becomes president, they go in the White House and go, "Wow, this is a step up in life." Trump
here was a
goes in there
step
and goes,
down.
"Yeah, it's
Talk
a
about,
step
oh
down
man, I'm
for
on
me."
welfare.
Here I have his little palace
On the
thing,
wall.
palace of
Yeah,
the
it's
White House.
ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I
Food
know. It's
sucks.
funny.
He yells about it like high school cafeteria. Food's terrible. I hate the people
Yeah,
here. Gotta
look,
go.
go back.
Here's a note. You're
Melania,
out.
Melania wants to go back to New York City and just do the White House thing over there. You know.
Right, yeah, because what is
Well,
Trump Plaza? What is the Trump? Well, how big is Trump Tower? 50 floors? It's got to be,
yeah,
right?
yeah, with all the golden and all the trimmings, where
Oh, right, and it really is too. It's terrible. It looks just like
freaking who wants to move in the White
that
House?
old Macy's catalog where they have all this
Yeah,
other trimming. That's what it looks like,
yeah. Instead of going to the crummy old White House, and just what's his
right? Yeah, probably gotta go down to a 4 bedroom, whatever. I
yeah,
don't even
I
want
got
that. Yeah, it's a
downside.
it's a starter.
Too
It's like a
many,
starter home.
too
It's like a
many.
starter home for him. It's like a no. It's like a
No,
trailer. It's like a
he's
trailer. I gotta go live in the
like
trailer.
Laszlo's trailer park or something.
I feel so bad for Laszlo. Oh,
Uh,
do you think he actually lives in a trailer? Do you think he does?
yeah, I know he does. He lives in a trailer. You can see it. But
Oh, I just
you
feel
got to.
so bad.
He's doing it, man. Even from a trailer, it's like he's got. I don't know what it is about that guy. I love his videos, man. Every
Because
time he does,
his trailer speeches, you know what it is. His trailer speech is like, this is Laszlo. Just to let you know the truth. This is
yeah.
the truth because this is Laszlo. And I'm thinking, does he have to speak so close to the camera, or is that how much room he actually has in his house?
Well, that's the
This
thing.
is Laszlo.
Real estate, man. We should have like a Laszlo
You
fund.
should have a Laszlo fund to get him
Yeah,
another
get him out
room.
of
You know what I
trailer.
mean?
Just get him to the house.
Another room, Laszlo. Because he's so. I mean, right? Right? Because he doesn't. Have you ever seen he doesn't move he doesn't move beyond
Oh,
the square foot that he's in.
it's not he doesn't move. He can't move.
Move, right? It's like sometimes I feel like the whole world is closing in on me. No.
I wonder why.
Go outside, Laszlo. Step
That's
outside.
that's a Laszlo effect. That's called the Laszlo effect.
And, well, Megs has the same problem because she lives in an apartment, but she
Oh,
looks to have more space than Laszlo does,
yeah, I know, man.
right? I'm sorry to say this, but every one of Meg's you understand, Meg's got a great personality. She's a great girl.
Oh, I love
Everything's
her.
great. She's great. But every time she does something where she finds something, and you're gonna like this one, she will go, "Oh my God, this is what I found. What is going on?" And then she turns into every
Facial expression on the planet.
every facial expression. But if you just line them up side by side, if I had any type of parody skills with YouTube, I'd be doing this. Is take the Blair Witch Project with her, and you will see the similarities will be eerie,
Yeah, it's funny.
right? Because
Yeah.
she looks like the Blair Witch Project. Am I alone? Am I? Because that's great.
It's funny.
That's how much room she's got, right?
Yeah, but
Person
it's
too.
so entertaining. I love it. I mean, I mean, if anybody else covered the same subject she done, it wouldn't hold
No.
my attention. But she's just got
Oh
that.
no, but
She's just got
she's
that
just yeah, she's got a
gripping.
great personality.
I know, and she's got a lot of fan
Yeah.
base, man. It's awesome, you know.
Yeah, because you could listen to her talk about nothing for
Yeah, but
for
the
45 minutes, and
expressions are
you'd be like riveting. She'd be like, "Okay, we're reading the phone book. This is now the letter C," and you'd
yeah.
be like, "Really, the letter C?
But I really
Read
like.
on."
I like it. I like it when she's like tormented. Like, oh,
Right, yeah,
I
right,
love that.
right, yeah, because she's got her facial expressions are great. I can't pronounce it all. It starts with the letter C. What is going on?
James Bible, it's changed. I know.
You're
We
that
love
with the
you,
Blair
Meg.
Witch Project, and it's a match.
Yeah, we
It's a
love you,
match.
Meg. We love
So,
you, Laszlo.
oh, the Megs, yeah,
He's
Megs and
got some.
Laszlo, yeah, but
You know.
Megs,
I
and
consider
to see
I
Megs,
could.
and to see Megs in person, she's better in person than she is on YouTube. It's
Oh,
actually
you
better
think?
because no, in person when we do live chats
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
other people. Oh, she's even better. Yeah, it's great.
yeah. She has a great voice to just to
Oh
put it.
yeah,
I mean, oh man, it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think she's awesome. She's awesome.
but yeah, it's great. But like anybody who does these Mandela videos, like it's just like they're like my personal celebrity. Screw Hollywood, man. I got Mandela people out there. Like I got like Scarab. He's become one of my favorites. I love that guy, man. He's a freaking Hollywood celeb.
Scare
Bri-
performance. Scare
Yeah,
performance.
Scarab performance. And then
Yeah.
Brian, well, I know him personally, so it's like he kind of like I'm familiar with him, so he's not so much a celebrity status. But then EYA,
Brian is great, but Brian, I'm concerned with his. Apparently, he has a garage full of shirts, of Mandela Effect shirts that he has to unload somehow.
oh, man,
9,000 shirts.
I took one off his hands there, but
Right. Yeah. So he's got 9,999 to go.
yeah, yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, everybody. He's a great guy. He has
Oh,
Mandela
he's a
Effect.
great guy, but I think he went a little crazy on buying too many of them shirts, Yeah,
He's fine. Yes.
but yeah,
He's
but like
yeah.
EYA, she was like my favorite Bible change girl. I mean, when she got awoken same time I did, and she started making videos, I'm watching. It's like every day when she came out with something new, it's like you're on your edge of your seat. Go, what are we going to get today? Well, today it's
Yes.
we're four or
Right.
that.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, it was
Exactly.
great. All these changes and but I personally like it when she used to talk all the time. When she used to talk. Now it's more like these whatever. But I like it when she talks all the time. It's awesome. I love the personal touch.
There's another guy on there, the used car salesman guy. He sounds like a used car salesman, but he's not. That I thought was okay. Um, he sounds like I don't know his name, so I can't tell you. I don't want to confuse you or anything, but he
I really like is
videos.
Curiouser and Curiouser.
What's his name?
Curious and Curiouser or something. He's got like a Mandela video,
Okay.
and he just rolls through with this cool music. I like it because it just shows it pretty cool. I like those, and there's
Doctor. What's his name?
oh no, Doctor.
He's a doctor. 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 He's got a beard. Curly hair. Really down to earth guy.
Lepo, the
Lepo.
the chiropractor or something like that. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
good.
cool too, man. I think he
probably
got out with Mandela effects because gone back to raising.
There's only so far it can go. Yeah, it's only so far it can go.
Yeah, you get tired. I mean, like I say, you see one effect, you've seen them all.
But he was helpful and he was down to earth.
Yeah, he was really like getting into it, and well, yeah, it's tricky. But I talked to some people here myself. You'll go through like Mandela burnout. It's like, okay, I'm tired of this crap. Then you just do your normal stuff. You go back into the matrix for a couple weeks or a month. Then all of a sudden,
find that Mandela effects? When you do that, do you find Mandela effects smack you in the face?
Yeah.
You find that
What is
it's run into them.
it's more like the shakes. It's like you start getting the shakes. Go, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a withdrawal. And then all of a sudden you start seeing more effects and go, woo, ooh, it's a lot of fun. So it's like that.
Well,
You get
my
sick of it.
my
I mean, if you eat turkey every day, I mean, when you have turkey for Thanksgiving, you're all excited. This is great. But then after like the fifth or sixth day of turkey sandwiches, I'm sick of turkey. I don't want to see it for a while. I think Mandela effects are like turkey.
personal note, I had my family. I have on on my cousin, one of my cousins
Yeah,
has cancer, and I guess it's progressed pretty badly. Uh, I can't really I don't know if it's a Mandela effect. I don't know what it is. We're about the same age, you
right.
see. But he lives in New York. I live here in Ohio, and I haven't talked to him in years and years and years. I really don't know how to approach these type of things. You understand?
Right.
Uh, because I'm worried about the changes. Have you? When I live in Ohio. I live in Ohio, away from New York, and I have some family that lives in Pennsylvania.
Hey, let me get back 1 second.
So
I'll be right back. I gotta,
go ahead,
I'll be
go
right
ahead,
back.
go ahead. Sure. So this has become my one man show. Show. Wait for the camera. So here we are live, where I am talking to myself to an empty chair. I used to have Tom. Tom apparently disappeared. He was there, and now apparently, if you have any idea where he went, if you see Tom, get him to call if he needs help. Maybe you can text. All right. Well, that's all I have for the. But looking at Tom's hotel room here, it looks like it's oh, he's back.
I'm back. Yeah, I just had
Be cool. Be cool. Just talking. I said, and here's my I said, this is my podcast, and I'm talking to an empty chair. Tom has disappeared.
I have disappeared, but not
Right, and
gone.
I said, and here's Tom.
But
Hotel room.
I,
And,
I gotta say, before I woke up to the effects, I didn't have, you just live your life. But now I have like a whole new realm of, I got all these new friends, new people I have relationships with. It's so cool, and it's like the new family. You have your family in church or whatever, or your neighbors,
well, of
but this is
course.
like a whole new online family because there's not that many Mandela believers, per square mile. I mean, I have like two in my church that are totally clearly awake, and I have another guy, and then that's about it as far as people awake personally.
Right, because it's a very small segment of the population.
Right.
Searching through my friends, when I started searching through my friends, I did not. Are you burning something over there? Is that what's going on?
Some kind
What are
of
you burning?
busted alarm. No, I don't know why the hotel alarm is. Blessed hotel's probably on fire. I'm just gonna hang out.
Because you left the camera. Let me get this straight. Because you left from the camera for a minute, you said, "I'll be right back. I got to do something," and now the alarm's going off. So the question is, what did you do?
No, I didn't do a thing. It just
I,
went off. Damn, that thing is loud.
so,
It's a good thing I
but
wasn't
one of the
asleep.
problems, one of the problems that I'm having with the Mandela effect, of course, very simply, is the people who are affected by the
Right.
Mandela effect, but they're affected in a different way than I am. They just don't. They simply don't see it. You were saying, you said that you were talking about a matrix effect, a Mr. Anderson effect. That's what I'm facing, and
Yeah.
I dread talking to my friends and family members and having them say things that either I didn't do, I didn't say, I wasn't there, etc.
Yeah.
And
That gets pretty
I don't.
crazy.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Have you experienced this in your own life?
Um, that I'm not sure because I don't know. Recently, my memory's been pretty bad. I don't know why. It's like I'm having a hard time remembering anything.
What do you mean?
What's that?
What do you mean?
Like just memory in general. My short-term memories, like kind of crapped out.
Well, this is my long term memory, and I remember I have a very good memory for the most part, very good memory. And I was talking with a friend on the phone the last time I was talking to her,
Right.
and she says, "Oh, do you remember?" Um, I was babysitting, and you were at the house. And I was watching someone. I was babysitting,
Hey,
and she and
I
I.
I,
And,
I, I hate to cut. I hate to cut you off, but this alarm's driving me crazy. I gotta go downstairs. I don't know
no
if it's
problem.
my room or it's a hotel, but I gotta deal with this.
Yeah, if the place is on fire, you have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, talk to you
I'll
soon.
leave it. Yeah, I'll leave it open for a while. Okay. I may
No
not be
problem.
back, but
Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna just put it down.
I used to, like back in the day, I was at 700 Club, Jimmy Swaggart before he fell, Kenneth Copeland, and then after a while, huh?